be enough dancehall. Must be 18 years or older to drink. Drink responsibly.
Mark your calendar for Friday, June 12th from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. Cliff Hughes Online will broadcast live from the Alps New Testament Church of God in Trelawney. That's where the Ministry of Local Government and Community Development and the Social Development Commission will make their third stop to officially hand over grants to 76 churches in Trelawney as part of the government's Community Church Cleanup and Restoration Initiative launched after Hurricane Melissa. In total, this initiative will benefit 420 churches across St. Elizabeth, Westmoreland, St. James, Trelawney, and Hanover. So tune in to Cliff Hughes Online Friday, June 12th from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. for the Community Church Cleanup and Restoration Initiative Grant Ceremony. Catch this and so much more on our YouTube channel at Nationwide Radio TV or keep your station locked to Nationwide 90 FM, the new revolution in media.
Hear my cry, oh Lord, attend unto my prayer.
This broadcast is brought to you by the Social Development Commission.
Get Dad ready for every job with all the tools he needs this Father's Day. The time by Rapid True Value is
Nationwide time, 5 o'clock.
Label Crafts Jamaica Limited offers exceptional finishes that will make your product extraordinary at an affordable cost. The Temperature by Label Crafts Jamaica Limited. The #1 choice for label printing is...
It's 29 degrees Celsius in Kingston, 30 in Montego Bay.
From the Nationwide News Network, comprehensive, incisive, tough. This is Nationwide at 5.
Good afternoon, I'm Mahiri Stewart.
And I'm Shalois Michael.
In Nationwide News at this hour, Petrojam moves cap on ex-refinery prices for diesel to $12.50 per litre.
June 24 date set for plea and case management hearing to determine trial date for Leota Bradshaw.
Justice Minister rejects calls for JPs to be paid for their service.
MP Robert Morgan rejects the opposition leader's suggestion that government ease the use of zones of special operations.
I'm personally skeptical as to the continuing usefulness of the zones in these communities.
We have achieved so much with zones that we don't need it anymore. So I do not support that conversation.
Education Transformation Oversight Committee to review how the sector is funded.
In news from the rest of the world, British Virgin Islands plans to scrap visas for work permit holders.
US slaps sanctions against Cuban oil and gas company as tensions rise.
In headline sports, Mexico beat South Africa in chaotic World Cup opener.
And later in our broadcast, in our cover story at 5:35, the greatest show on earth kicked off on Thursday with Mexico defeating South Africa 2-0 in the opening match of the 2026 FIFA World Cup. Nationwide's sports reporter Orain Buchanan and former Reggae Girls head coach Charlie Edwards will join us.
From 6 to 8, we'll bring you a delayed broadcast of the Jamaica Employers Federation's 42nd Annual Business and Workplace Convention and Expo.
All these and more as we take you home on air Nationwide 90 FM this Thursday afternoon, Thursday, June 11, 2026.
If it's news, it's got to be Nationwide 90 FM.
Now to the details. Petrojam has revised its tiered pricing structure, capping the maximum movement in ex-refinery prices for diesel at $12.50 per litre. The state-owned refinery says the move is to strengthen Jamaica's energy security against shocks in the global oil market. It follows an announcement months ago of a potential change in the pricing structure for fuel products. Dana Davey tells us more.
The increase cap on diesel fuel took effect today, Thursday, June 11. It applies to both automotive diesel oil and ultra-low sulfur diesel. It does not affect any other fuel product, with the $4.50 cap remaining in place. According to Petrojam, the adjustment would bring its ex-refinery prices into closer alignment with movements in the benchmark U.S. Gulf Coast reference and would apply whether prices were rising or falling. The change follows a period of heavy losses tied to volatility in the global market. Petrojam says since the spike in prices brought on by the U.S.-Israel war on Iran in late February, its former pricing regime has seen the company absorb as much as $21 of the average $59 per litre increase on transport fuels through to the end of May. That absorption has cost the refinery almost 30 million US dollars or 3.6 billion Jamaican dollars over the 3-month period. It's similarly limited its ability to respond to higher replacement costs for crude and finished products. Petrojam says the revised tiers would still shield motorists from the full immediate pass-through of extreme price shocks, delivering what it described as a proportionate and balanced response to major market movements. Under the new billing prices, automotive diesel oil rose by $10.50 to $212 per liter, while ultra-low sulfur diesel rose by the full $12.50 to $220.85. Kerosene increased by $4.50 to $190.65. Both grades of gasoline fell by 25 cents, with 87 moving to $193.63 and 90 to $201.08. Propane fell by 56 cents and butane by 98 cents. Dealers and marketing companies will continue to add their own markups to arrive at retail prices. Dana Davey for Nationwide News.
A plea and case management hearing is set for June 24 to determine the trial date in the case of Leoda Bradshaw. Bradshaw is the woman accused of being the mastermind behind the killing of 10-month-old Soraya Paulwell and the child's mother, 27-year-old Tashina Patterson, on September 9, 2023. She appeared in the Supreme Court on Thursday. Bradshaw is charged with 2 counts of murder, 2 counts of conspiracy to murder, 2 counts of kidnapping, and 2 counts of conspiracy to kidnapping. Prosecutors are asking for a prison sentence of 45 years. It's understood the alleged triggerman, David Smith, pleaded guilty on Wednesday and is taking a plea deal. 2 other men, Richard Brown and Rasheen Miller, previously pleaded guilty and were both sentenced. Soraya and her mother were taken from their home and were transported to East Kingston, where they were fatally shot and their bodies burnt. Soraya was the daughter of Member of Parliament for East Kingston and Port Royal, Philip Paulwell.
Justice Minister Delroy Chuck has rejected calls for Justices of the Peace, JPs, to be paid for their service. As part of his sectoral debate presentation in Parliament on Wednesday, Minister Chuck says this must remain voluntary.
Madam Speaker, talk about stipend. Any GP who is serving in the courts with the police taking witness statement and they have to spend time, they can collect a stipend. Can collect it. But Madam Speaker,
if I don't want it,
Madam Speaker, the idea of paying GPs regularly is out. It won't happen.
The call for JPs to be paid was made by opposition spokesperson on justice Zulika Jess. She described the current arrangement in Jamaica as institutional exploitation. However, Minister Chuck says outside of the specific duties carried out in service of the courts or police which attract a stipend, the services provided by JPs can be carried out by other members of society, such as a school principal or minister of religion. The minister says any attempt by a JP to charge for their service is corrupt.
You must see all the JPs that I know that I have interacted with. They have said that JP service is voluntary. We want to help our people. And those JPs who are charging, they're corrupting the system. They're a part of the corruption of taxi drivers getting more than one license. They used to corrupt the passport, and we want to decommission any of them charging.
Yes.
Delroy Chuck, Minister of Justice.
Member of Parliament for North Central Clarendon, Robert Morgan, is taking the PNP to task for suggesting a potential easing up on the zones of special operations for having had no active hand in the current reduction in murders. MP Morgan was making his contribution to the debate, seeking to extend the zones of special operations currently in force across the island. Siobhan Campbell tells us more.
There are currently 7 zones of special operations, ZOSOs, in communities across the island. These are Savannah Lamar in Westmoreland, Mount Salem and Norwood in St. James, August Town in St. Andrew, and Denham Town, Greenwich Town, and Parade Gardens in Kingston. On Wednesday, the House of Representatives granted an extension that will see the measures remain in place for another 6 months. In his contribution to the debate on the extension, Opposition Leader Mark Golding cast doubt on the continued efficacy of the ZOSOs.
Consensus as much as being achieved as much as possible around issues to do with the fight against serious crime. We want to be supportive, and we have been. We've only differed fundamentally on the use of states of emergency, which are no longer being used, and we're pleased for that. And the results of the new strategies speak for themselves. We're pleased with that. So, we're not going to oppose this today, but I would just say to you that I'm personally skeptical as to the continuing usefulness of the zones in these communities.
In rebuttal to Golding, Member of Parliament for North Central Clarendon, Robert Morgan, dismissed any calls to ease upon the measure.
So now we have achieved so much with ZOSO, we don't need it anymore. So next time we shouldn't come here with an extension for 6 months. I do not support that conversation because the problem is still there. And while murders are down by over 50% in the last 2 years, we want it to go much lower, Dr. Chang.
Morgan similarly reminded the National Security Minister of the complete lack of support from the opposition benches when it came to maintaining the states of public emergency.
So Dr. Chang, when you were coming with your strategy, Dr. Chang, and you were under pressure, they say you were the sleeping security minister. They never supported the state of emergency. When you brought them in to reduce murders as a shock effect, they never supported it. Initially, they watered down the ZOSO bill. Remember the debate I was watching? So now that we have had our hard-earned successes, and places like Augustown and Denhamtown are getting a respite from the murders, now is not the time to turn back, Dr. Chang.
According to Morgan, the Holness administration should be lauded for its fight against crime, despite strong criticism and resistance from the opposition.
This government takes credit for the significant reduction in murder in this country. This government had a strategy led by the Prime Minister Andrew Michael Holness. And when we were promulgating this strategy, we had to fight hard in this house to get it. They say we never have no crime plan. Where is the crime plan? Was the Echo everyday editorials, front page news. And I'm not going to sit here, Dr. Chang, as a young member of this house and allow them to rewrite history. So I stand here in support of the ZOSO, and I want you to extend it and do not allow them to distract you from your strategy, Dr. Chang.
Siobhan Campbell for Nationwide News.
The increasing number of police fatal shootings and perceived lack of accountability are continuing to erode public confidence in law enforcement. That's according to opposition leader Mark Golding. He was reacting to 11 men being killed in separate alleged police confrontations over a 2-day period.
What has happened in the last 24 hours plus with 11 police fatal shootings is a concern to us. You know our position that we support the body-worn cameras being deployed on special operations. We think this is an important thing to ensure that Jamaica can have confidence that the rule of law is being scrupulously followed by our law enforcement officers. And I think that we need to find ways of providing an assurance of accountability for the use of extreme force, deadly force by the police. And I think the society is increasingly perturbed that we're seeing this elevated level of police fatal shootings and nothing really apparently in place to assure accountability around it.
The first incident over the period occurred near the Bogwalk Gorge in St. Catherine on Tuesday. 4 men were fatally shot in what the police say was a shootout. Hours later, another man linked to the Bogwalk incident was shot dead in the vicinity of G.C. Foster College, also in St. Catherine. On Wednesday, there was another fatal shooting in Good Hope, Clarendon, 1 more in Papine, St. Andrew, and 4 at the retirement dump in St. James. The Independent Commission of Investigations, INDECOM, reports that 153 people have been killed by the security forces between January 1 and June 10 this year. That's 8 more than the 145 recorded over the corresponding period last year. Golding, who was speaking in Parliament on Tuesday, says the rising toll is overwhelming INDECOM.
The volume of investigations that would be in their portfolio has grown tremendously as a result of the increase in police fatal shootings. So it's a long period of time before families and a community get the benefit of hearing what INDECOM's investigation produced. I'm hoping we can find some way of changing the paradigm a bit and restoring a sense of the primacy of the rule of law in how we police our population.
Mark Golding, opposition leader. You're listening to Nationwide News at 5. More news after these.
You're listening to Nationwide 90 FM. The time is
5:14.
Termites, rodents, or birds infesting your home or office? Call Rentokil Initial, the pest expert, at 876-926-4236 for a free pest assessment island-wide. The temperature brought to you by Rentokil Initial is
29 degrees Celsius in Kingston City, 30 out west in Montego Bay.
Multi-link, access every time, everywhere I go. Multi-link, 24/7 access for me. It's just a win-win when we use Multi-link. This card is Jamaican built, yeah. Fast and secure, you can use anywhere, spend while supporting the economy.
Look for the Multi-link logo on your card and benefit from Jamaica's largest debit payment network.
Multi-link, 24/7 access for me.
What would I do without my Multi-link?
Continuing the news, Education Minister Senator Dr. Dana Morris Dixon says the Education Transformation Oversight Committee, ETOC, will be reviewing how the sector is funded. She made the statement at the weekly post-cabinet media briefing at Jamaica House on Wednesday.
And through the Education Transformation Oversight Committee, that is actively being looked at. And I'm actually working on some new arrangements in relation to funding. So in another couple of weeks, you're going to hear how we're funding schools. And it's really interesting and very, very different. So please tune in and come to PostCab. I'll probably do it here.
The minister's words follow those of State Minister in the Ministry of Finance and Public Service, Xavier Main, that the government by itself is unable to adequately fund the education sector due to fiscal constraints. A recent study by the Caribbean Policy Research Institute, CAPRI, revealed that despite spending as much of its gross domestic product, GDP, on education as most countries, Jamaica does not get the desired return on its investment. Minister Morris Dixon referred to CAPRI's study as she outlined that changes may be needed on how funds are allocated in the local education.
Capri did a study recently, and their view is largely that it's not really a matter of underspend. It's really a matter of, are we getting the results from all the spend that we do? But also right now in the ministry, we're actually moving around budget so that we can fund in a different way, fundamentally different than we've been doing it in the past. And I think that will address some of the issues too. But again, that one is going to be based on results, because you can't just keep putting money at an area and not get the results that Jamaica needs to see. So sometimes it's not more money, it's really efficiency of that spend.
Dr. Dana Morris Dixon, Minister of Education.
The Holness administration is facing criticism over its management of the Ministry of Local Government and Rural Development. Opposition spokesperson Natalie Nita Garvey used her sectoral presentation on Wednesday to paint a picture of a ministry under neglect and falling short in its mandate.
For too long in Jamaica, we have misunderstood local government. We have treated it as an afterthought, an appendage to central government. Irregular garbage collection is now the #1 complaint of every citizen in every parish. There are some communities which have never seen a garbage truck, ever. Minister, the $300,000 you announced to give councillors is an insult to them. We need more money in local government. We need to stop giving councillors baskets to carry water. Municipal corporations depend excessively on constrained revenue channels while operating within expanding expectations. Yeah.
According to Mrs. Nita Garvey, the ministry is in desperate need of reform. It's why she's proposing several improvements, particularly through the adoption of technological advancements to modernize its operations.
We must modernize revenue administration through technology, compliance reform, and diversified local income mechanisms. Property tax administration must become smarter, more transparent, and more efficient. Digital property databases, GIS mapping systems, integrated billing platforms, real-time compliance tracking, automated payment systems, and predictive revenue planning.
Natalie Nita Garvey, opposition spokesperson on local government.
World in a Minute is brought to you by ABC Electrical Sales. We make things as easy as ABC. Hose assembly and supply, equipping Jamaica for success.
And Charles O'Connor Consulting Network, COCN, driven by international accounting standards, modern technology, and integrity.
The World in a Minute.
The British Virgin Islands government has announced plans to remove visa requirements for active work permit holders. Finance Minister Dr. Natalio D. Wheatley made the announcement during his State of the Territory address on Tuesday. Dr. Wheatley says the initiative is set to remove the barriers around slow economic growth as employers raise concerns about labor shortages. The BVI government will be using this initiative to expand employment in the hospitality, marine, agriculture, and fishing and skilled trades sectors. This is a massive move for Jamaica, as Jamaicans represent one of the largest groups of work permit holders for the country. There has been no official start date for the visa waivers.
The U.S. government on Thursday announced sanctions against Cuba's state-owned oil and gas company in a move expected to increase tensions between the two countries. U.S. Secretary of State Marco Rubio says key assets of the company known as CUPET were unlawfully seized from American owners years ago. Rubio added that all properties of CUPET located in the U.S. or in possession or control of U.S. people are blocked. He also accused Cuba's government of weaponizing energy. There has been no response from the Cuban government.
World in a Minute was brought to you by ABC Electrical Sales. We make things as easy as ABC. Hose assembly and supply, equipping Jamaica for success.
And Charles O'Connor Consulting Network, COCN, driven by international accounting standards, modern technology, and integrity.
Recapping the top stories making nationwide news at this hour, Petrojam moves cap on ex-refinery prices for diesel to $12.50 per litre.
June 24 date set for plea and case management hearing to determine trial date for Leota Bradshaw.
Justice Minister rejects calls for JPs to be paid for their service. I'm Mahiri Stewart.
And I'm Shalois Michael.
You can find the news on our website at nationwideradiojm.com and join the Nationwide Family Club at patreon.com/Nationwide News Network. News next, the headlines at 6.
Madam Speaker, building on the social prevention pillar of Plan Secure Jamaica, the City Security Plan remains our primary vehicle for delivering the peace dividend to our communities. Support by the European Union, UK's Violence Prevention Partnership Programme, and our own consolidated fund, the CSP has delivered targeted investment in governance, infrastructure, and social intervention. We have strengthened oversight through the City Security Business Group, initiated by the Prime Minister. The establishment of safe space in vulnerable communities, continue the upgrading of police stations, skills training and certification by at-risk youth like heavy vehicle driving and other construction work, which continue to work closely with the Heart and Ministry of Education to see how we can scale these operations and really provide a genuine alternative for our young people. The construction of 2 domestic violence shelters is complete and the third is about to be completed. The establishment of a child and adolescent guidance and therapeutic wellness center in Montego Bay and plans to expand it to at least 2 more areas quickly. The rollout of the interministerial school support strategy in 37 schools, that too will scale up. We have successfully closed phase 1, but building on the lessons of phase 1, we are strengthening what works and expanding our reach. The CSP will now extend beyond the ZOZOs to vulnerable communities under the Community Renewal Program.
Ray and nephew, feel with culture. Pass the Ray, yeah, me want it. Feel all the vibes with me party. So recommended selling price at the nearest community bar for Ray and nephew. Campari or Kingston 62 is only $300 per drink and $1,800 per flask. Must be 18 years old to drink responsibly.
Hey!
Mark your calendar for Friday, June 12th from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. Cliff Hughes Online will broadcast live from the Alps New Testament Church of God in Trelawney. That's where the Ministry of Local Government and Community Development and the Social Development Commission will make their third stop to officially hand over grants to 76 churches in Trelawney as part of the government's Community Church Cleanup and Restoration Initiative launched after Hurricane Melissa. In total, this initiative will benefit 420 churches across St. Elizabeth, Westmoreland, St. James, Trelawney, and Hanover. So tune in to Cliff Hughes Online Friday, June 12th from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. for the Community Church Cleanup and Restoration Initiative Grant Ceremony. Catch this and so much more on our YouTube channel at Nationwide Radio TV or keep your station locked to Nationwide 90 FM, the new revolution in media.
Hear my cry, oh Lord, attend unto my prayer.
This broadcast is brought to you by the Social Development Commission.
Hi there. Here's some good news for these trying times. Quote, by God's word, I can see where I'm going. They throw a beam of light on my dark path. Unquote. Psalm 119, verse 105. Listen for God's word weekdays at 5:45 a.m. and
Sports at 5 is brought to you by Total Tools. Total Tools, every tool, every trade.
Hello, good afternoon, and welcome to Sports here on Nationwide 90 FM. I'm Wayne Walker. Mexico made a rousing start to their World Cup campaign on Thursday, beating South Africa by 2-0 in the opening game of the tournament at the Mexico City Stadium, formerly the Azteca. Julian Quinones got the opening goal on minute number 9, while Raul Jimenez got a second-half strike to steer the co-host to the top of Group A.
South Africa giving the ball away dangerously, very dangerously. Julian Quinones has the honour of scoring the first goal of the 2026 World Cup.
Alvarado.
And Raul Jimenez, a crowning moment in his glorious career for the veteran Mexican.
South Africa ended the game with 9 players after defender Yaya Sithole was shown a direct red card after a harsh foul on Raul Jimenez in the 49th minute, and Themba Swane was ejected after VAR review in the 84th minute. Mexico also had a player sent off. Cesar Montes was shown the red card in the 90+2 minutes for denying a clear goal-scoring opportunity during a late South Africa counter-attack. The second game of the opening day doubleheader will take place in Guadalajara starting at 9 p.m. Jamaica time. South Korea against Czechia. That game will be live right here on Nationwide 90 FM. Athletics news now. 3 Jamaicans are listed for the Los Angeles Grand Prix, a World Athletic Continental Tour meeting this weekend at the University of Southern California, June 13 and 14. Natasha Morrison will line up in a stacked women's 100 meters featuring the world champion Melissa Jefferson Wooden, Gabby Thomas, and Marie-Josée Chalou Smith. Akeem Blake is entered for the men's equivalent, and Rajendra Campbell will be in the men's shot put. West Indies captain Shea Hope says the team is aiming to carry the positive momentum from its last ICC World Cup World Cup campaign into the upcoming 3-match T20 International Series against Sri Lanka. The teams are meeting in the first game of the 3-match series on Thursday, starting at 7:30 p.m. at Sabina Park. Hope says the team is focused on building consistency and establishing a winning culture as they continue their preparation for future international tournaments. The West Indies captain noted that while the squad has shown encouraging signs in recent outings, the players understand the importance of maintaining high standards and delivering strong performances on a regular basis.
Continuation of brand of cricket that we want to play, or we played in the World Cup. I thought the way we represented the region there was quite commendable. Again, it's just about extending from that particular run, going one step further. Something that we discussed in our team meetings is about winning more series. If you win more series, then you get into good habits of winning world tournaments. So just about practicing the way you want to play and then hopefully carry that same momentum into the series.
West Indies white ball captain Shea Hope. And the West Indies captain noted that while the squad has shown encouraging signs in recent outings, the players understand the importance of maintaining high standards and delivering. Well, we just read that a while ago. Let's move to the next story, cricket as well, because Bangladesh, they claimed their first one-day international series win against Australia in a 5-wicket victory in the second game in Mirpur on Thursday. The hosts, who won their first 50-over match against Australia in 21 years in the series opener, had lost all 4 of their previous one-day international series against the 6-time world champions. Their only previous match win was a Tri-Nation series, and that came against England in 2005. Now chasing a revised 192 in 41 overs after the Aussie innings was halted by rain, Bangladesh, they lost the opener Tanzid Hassan Tamim for a duck in the very first over. But Sumayan Sakar, 42, and Najmul Hussain Shanto, 41, they put on 86 for the second wicket to repair the damage. They eventually got over the line with 6 overs to spare as Tawhid Rajoy weighed in with an unbeaten 40, and the captain Mahdi Hassan Mizraz, 22. Not out Australia, who are without some key players, amongst them Mitch Marsh, Travis Head, Pat Cummins, and Josh Hazelwood, had earlier posted 187 for 8 in 42 overs before the rain arrived. The final game in the 3-match series will take place on Sunday, and it will be played in Mirpur. That's sports. We're going to be back at 6:05 with our main sportscast. Alric Swaby will be your presenter.
Sports at 5 was brought to you by Total Tools. Total Tools, every tool, every trade.
For all your custom framing, printing, graphic design, and purchase of art, Make It Frame Art Jamaica Limited, serving you for over 40 years. The time by Frame Art Jamaica is
5:30.
This is Nationwide's FIFA World Cup Fact.
Did you know that Oleg Salenko sets the record for most goals by an individual in a single FIFA World Cup game? Yes, that's a fact. Russia dismantled Cameroon 6-1 in June of 1994 during a group stage match in the USA. Salenko scored 5 of them. The record stands to this day, and Salenko earned himself a share of the tournament's Golden Boot for reaching 6 total goals scored. That record comes with an interesting bit of trivia. He's the only player to earn a Golden Boot without playing a single knockout round game.
That was Nationwide's FIFA World Cup Fact.
Remember the first time, the first glance, the first touch, and rediscover that feeling. At Couples Resorts, every stay feels like the first time all over again. Escape to a couples-only all-inclusive paradise with gourmet dining, premium cocktails, and unforgettable ocean views, all included. Jamaican residents can celebrate with exclusive rates from $405 USD per night, valid through April 30th. Visit couples.com/residence. Couples Resorts, like the first time, every time.
For all your electrical needs, visit ABC Electrical Sales. They stock a wide variety of electrical supplies, including plugs, switches, panel boards, and conduits, plus energy-saving fixtures. ABC Electrical Sales stocks brands like GE, Siemens, Philips, Cutler Hammer, and Allen Bradley. They also offer free island-wide delivery just to suit your needs. Visit them at Shop 8, Hagley Park Plaza, Kingston 10, or call 876-754-3714-5 or 876-754-3825-8. ABC Electrical Sales, for a better choice in the electrical business.
Appleton at the bar, come join me. A drink is just $3.50.
The recommended selling price for Appleton Estate Signature at your nearest community bar is only $350 per drink and $2,100 per flask. Must be 18 years or older to drink. Drink responsibly.
Mark your calendar for Friday, June 12th from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. Cliff Hughes Online will broadcast live from the Alps New Testament Church of God in Trelawney. That's where the Ministry of Local Government and Community Development and the Social Development Commission will make their third stop to officially hand over grants to 76 churches in Trelawney as part of the government's Community Church Cleanup and Restoration Initiative launched after Hurricane Melissa. In total, this initiative will benefit 420 churches across St. Elizabeth, Westmoreland, St. James, Trelawney, and Hanover. So tune in to Cliff Hughes Online Friday, June 12th from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. for the Community Church Cleanup and Restoration Initiative Grant Ceremony. Catch this and so much more on our YouTube channel at Nationwide Radio TV, or keep your station locked to Nationwide 90 FM, the new revolution in media.
Hear my cry, oh Lord, attend unto my prayer.
This broadcast is brought to you by the Social Development Commission. Do you have a consumer-related issue? Want to learn more about matters concerning you as a consumer? Well, keep it locked to Nationwide 90 FM for the Consumer Hour with me, Nora Gay Banton. Weekdays from 9 to 10 a.m. For all your consumer-centric matters, stay tuned to the Consumer Hour on Nationwide 90 FM, a revolution in media.
As we grow older, there are many challenges that we have to confront, but these years can represent the best in our lives. Coming of Age during Nationwide This Morning on Thursdays explores issues persons 50 and over confront. It also provides expert opinions on how we can improve the quality of our lives as we get older. That's Coming of Age, this and every Thursday during Nationwide This Morning at 6:51 a.m.
Cover Story is brought to you by
Multilink. Roll with control. Use Multilink. Safe, fast, and accepted in more locations.
Multi-link, access every time, everywhere I go. Multi-link, 24/7 access for me. It's just a win-win when we use Multi-link. This card is Jamaican built, yeah. Fast and secure, you can use anywhere, spend while supporting the economy.
Look for the Multilink logo on your card and benefit from Jamaica's largest debit payment network.
Multi-link, 24/7 access for me.
What would I do without my Multilink?
It's 5:36. Thank you so much for staying with us. It is Nationwide at 5, and of course, I am Saeed Bernard. We are on the Cover Story. Well, the 2026 World Cup kicked off, and of course, just to remind you, Nationwide will be bringing exclusive radio coverage of the matches. We'll also be having post-game analysis for the knockout rounds. Don't forget to tune in. Also note that we're now on a new YouTube channel, NNN Radio Live. That's NNN Radio Live. So go over to that new channel and of course like, share and subscribe. Now to matters of business for the Cover Story. The greatest show on earth kicked off at 2 p.m. on Thursday in Mexico City. The opening match saw host nation Mexico defeating South Africa 2-0. South Africa ended the game with 9 players after one of their defenders was given a direct red card after a harsh foul on Mexican star Raul Jimenez in the 49th minute. Another South African player, Themba Swain, was ejected after a VAR review in the 84th minute. Mexico also had a player sent off in overtime for denying a clear goal scoring opportunity during a late South African counter-attack. The second game of the opening day double is set to take place in Guadalajara starting at 9 p.m. Jamaica time with South Korea against the Czech Republic. The 2026 World Cup is being co-hosted by the United States, Canada and Mexico. Of course, it will feature an expanded format of 48 teams competing in 104 matches across 16 host cities, running from June 11 to July 19. The event is expected to attract millions of fans and billions of viewers worldwide. Certainly, as defending champions, Argentina will seek to retain their title on football's grandest stage. And as usual here at Nationwide 90 FM, we will have all the latest news throughout the tournament with our expert team of analysis. Well, joining us for discussion on what has happened so far with the World Cup, I am joined by our own sports reporter here at Nationwide, Oreen Buchanan, and former Reggae Girls head coach, due to join us, Charlie Edwards. He's on. Good. Good afternoon, gentlemen.
Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon, Saeed. How are you?
I'm good. And you?
Orion, good afternoon. I'm great.
Good afternoon, Coach.
All right, good. Let me start with you then, Charlie. Mexico's 2-0 victory over South Africa. What stood out most to you from that?
Mexico came well organized, and they played I wouldn't say it was a spectacular football match, but it was professional and efficient enough to get them the results. You know, they had a structure. They were systematically set up well, whereas they had South Africa pinned, and the direct press, high press, had South Africa in a bit of problem, and hence the first goal in the 90th minute. So it was interesting just to see the setup and how they started. To me, it seemed as if South Africa had some form of nerves issues or something like that. And people might say that they are professionals, but this is the biggest stage. Billions of people watching you. You know, it can affect players. And it seemed as if it affected the South Africans. And they're not a regular World Cup team, but I think the last time they went to the World Cup was when they hosted. So it's interesting to see.
Get you. Well, let me ask you, Oreen, because it's a new format, 48 teams, 104 matches, the first World Cup of this nature. What are some of the biggest changes fans should expect as it relates to the playing and all of that as compared to previous tournaments?
Well, other than the obvious and so more matches, I think the 48 teams in the World Cup now gives more teams an opportunity, obviously, to participate. I mean, this World Cup will have four teams for the very first time participating. I'm in total agreement with it. I mean, it's not like you have 48 teams now at a World Cup that is a shoo-in to get it. You have to play to get here. I mean, this is the biggest stage for football. So I'm in agreement with it. The problem is the political atmosphere around this World Cup in particular. I mean, the president came out yesterday.
Which president? The US president?
Well, both of them has been at the center of the discussion. But in this one in particular, Gianni Infantino, president of FIFA, he came out yesterday and saying this World Cup is the biggest one and nothing will bar the distractions around it. And I'm like, this is sugarcoating it. The political atmosphere around the World Cup is very much evident. And I think the only thing that will save this World Cup is the on-field activities. And Steve McManaman said it perfectly, former Liverpool player. He said only the on-field activities will save this one, and I'm in total agreement with it. I mean, it's just been too much, but let's see. First day out of the way now. Partially 50% because we still have a game tonight. South Korea versus Czechia, 9 p.m. So it's 50% out of the way, but let's see how it goes. I mean, I love it. 48 teams. I'm just sad that Jamaica didn't make it, but
perfect opportunity for us.
Exactly.
Let me ask you this, Coach Edwards, because, and I'm going there because Oreen went there, so I'll use that as a segue. But the president, Infantino, he has come out to say that the institution FIFA cannot dictate to a host country their immigration policy when it comes to these world tournaments. He also went further to say that the Women's World Cup, which would be had, I think, in 2030 or 2035, I don't remember the year, in England, they don't expect to tell England their immigration policy where that is concerned. But I did some digging, and I recall Russia World Cup 2018. This very president said we must guarantee fans entry, otherwise it cannot be considered a World Cup without supporters of participating teams. Now, he's saying we cannot interfere with a country's decision on who enters and who leaves. And I give you one better before you respond. Indonesia, the Under-20 World Cup, Indonesia said that they wouldn't, based on their immigration policy, they would not host Israel. And FIFA moved the World Cup unilaterally from there to Argentina. What level of hypocrisy is this that we're seeing from the FIFA president?
This is something that is not going to stop for now because, I mean, the USA being a superpower in the world, maybe very intimidating to him, and maybe had him pulling back somewhat and going back on his words based on the Russia one. It's all politics, total politics. Indonesia, which is a much smaller nation, it's easier for them to pull it from them and go somewhere else and not get the backlash that you would get from the USA. And you have a president now in the USA who is very petty. And, you know, you do certain things, he's going to lash out at you. So you just don't know what to expect. He could maybe ramp up the immigration laws even a little bit more and play a hardball with you.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not a good thing. I think Infantino was caught maybe in a very delicate position, not sure what to do or what to say. And he came out politically and made a statement which you have to understand that he had his back up against the wall.
Yes.
So as to what is he going to do or say, one has to understand and sympathize with him.
Yes. Well, to be honest with you, Coach, I don't sympathize with him at all. I think people in those positions, I understand you have to navigate some things, but people in those positions, you have to stand for something sometimes. You know, that's just my view, humbly. I'm not an issue. But beyond that, though, after the break, I mean, I don't want to focus too much on the politics of football right now, but after the break, I want to put to you guys, Oriane, yourself, Coach, Argentina, they're the defending champions. How are they looking going into the World Cup? There is France, there is Spain. I want to talk to you about the likeliness of who could very well win this new format of a World Cup. So many more questions to come to you. Just stay with us until after the break.
The time by Grace Good Move is...
It's 15 minutes to 6 o'clock.
Visit Marshall's Pharmacy, Greater Portmore, for all your prescription needs, gifts, personal care, household, and stationery items. The temperature by Marshall's Pharmacy, Greater Portmore is
29 degrees Celsius in Kingston and 30 in Montego Bay.
As a taxi man, every mickle make a muckle. I see him way, so BCIC Easy Pay stay.
Having 11 months to pay my car and home insurance, little by little, puts me at ease.
Exactly. With my type of business, I have to fret about pay a big money, yet always covered.
Get as much as 11 months to pay your car and home insurance while enjoying 100% coverage with BCIC Easy Pay.
Multi-link, access every time, everywhere I go. Multi-link, 24/7 access for me. It's just a win-win when we use multi-link. This card is Jamaican built, yeah. Fast and secure, you can use anywhere. Spend while supporting the economy.
Look for the Multilink logo on your card and benefit from Jamaica's largest debit payment network.
Multi-link, 24/7 access for me.
What would I do without my Multilink?
Need to make a change to your title or need a title? GLand Title Limited is the place to be. They do lost title application, add and remove names from titles, wills, estates, first-time registration, land surveys included, affordable rates and flexible payment options, National Land Agency adjudication and land titling waivers available. They have 8 locations island-wide. Call 876-754-6436 or visit their website at glandonline.com. GLand Title Limited. Secure your land, secure your title.
We are seeing historically low levels of serious crime. We are removing illegal firearms from our streets. We are arresting rates are rising and more citizens are coming forward to support law enforcement. Yes, we are incapacitating the criminals. We've identified them, we find them, we arrest them, prosecute them. If they fight and we have to shoot, we will succeed. We stop them. But our work is not finished. We must sustain these gains. We must deepen the peace. And we must prepare the next generation to inherit a Jamaica where violence is not the answer, but opportunity is the norm. This is not only about enforcement, Madam Speaker, colleagues. It is about transformation. It is about building Jamaican families, strengthening communities, and creating pathways for young people to succeed.
12 minutes going up to 6 o'clock. Thank you so much for staying with us. It's Nationwide at 5. And of course, we are still on the cover page. I'm joined by Nationwide's own Orain Buchanan. And with him, I have Coach Charlie Edwards, the former Reggae Girls head coach. Coach, you're there with us, yes?
Still here with you.
Perfect. Let me start with you then. Your prelims, your predictions for who will win the World Cup. Do you have any?
Yes, I do. I am supporting the Jamaica national team there.
The Jamaica national team?
Brazil.
Who?
Brazil.
Okay. But you're supporting them, but who could realistically win? Because I know you don't think they could win.
I think they could win, but I think indiscipline from that team may cause them to work up. They have a pretty good team. But I really think France is the team to beat. Although the stats are that Spain is slightly the favorite to win the World Cup.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't think Spain has the firepower like France does up front. When you look at that Doué, Olise, Dembele, Mbappe coming at you, I mean, how many defenders do you think are going to be comfortable looking at that strike force coming at them? That's a nasty strike force. The pace that they have, everything. And the depth that France team has is crazy. They could produce a very good second string team.
Wow.
So for me, in my best estimation of everything that I've seen and read,
yes,
France is the team to beat.
France is the team to beat. Very well. Orain, your view?
I think the top two teams that have been on the lips of a lot of Jamaicans are rightfully so, France and Spain, for obvious reasons.
Mm-hmm.
France with their attacking prowess, Spain with their midfield. I think those two teams stand out, but you also have other teams that you could throw in that.
Mm-hmm.
Portugal will have something to say about that as well.
Really?
Yes. Argentina will have something to say about that as well. And every World Cup normally has that dark horse team. We saw in the last World Cup, Morocco, they went to the semi-finals.
Mm-hmm.
Not saying we'll have Morocco again going that far, but we just don't know with this 48-team tournament which team will pop up. Every World Cup cycle has that team. You could go from World Cup start, 2002, Turkey went to the semi-finals.
Mm-hmm.
South Korea always have that magic run.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm looking at all the squads. Colombia could do something at this World Cup. Belgium team. This Belgium team...
Well, the golden generation of the Belgian team is gone.
That is it. Some team, I'm glad you went there. Some team perform well when the spotlight is not on them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah? 2018, they went to the semi-final, lost. They came third, defeating England in the third and fourth place playoff.
Yes.
Could this be the year that no one is watching Belgium and Kevin De Bruyne spring an upset then? Kevin De Bruyne was formerly at Manchester City. If you follow his days at Manchester City, whenever it was a big game, it seemed to me that Kevin De Bruyne always had either a hamstring injury or a thigh injury, always non-contact. What does that say about sportsmen? That tells me nerves. Non-contact, especially in football, that tells me nerves. So
your nerve was still a part to get injured?
Yes. Because if you listen to the injuries that I just listed out, thigh, hamstring, non-contact.
Right.
Yeah?
Non-contact injuries.
Exactly. So could this be the year that no one is watching Belgium? Kevin De Bruyne, Jeremy Doku, Leandro Trossard. I mean, you have Lukaku is getting back to full fitness. Could Belgium pull an upset? We don't know. It's the first time we've seen 48 teams.
Mm-hmm.
So we have that. Argentina. A lot of persons have been saying Argentina is an old team. Messi is old, and Messi's 38. He'll turn 39 in a couple of days from now.
Mm-hmm.
I still think Messi has it, because speaking with football fans in football circles, Messi is old, yes, in age, but can he still turn it on and turn it off when he feels like?
Yeah.
Yes, we've seen that at Inter Miami. Messi still, whenever you go up in age, you lose it with the feet.
The physicality.
Football is mindset. Mm-hmm. He still has it upstairs.
Yeah.
And
still has the football IQ.
Exactly. Looking at the Argentine squad, their defensive line, only two players, Nicolas Tagliafico, 33, is over 30, and Nicolas Otamendi, 38. That's not bad for a defensive line. Their midfield, it is a little bit age there. Rodrigo de Paul, 32, Giovanni Lo Celso, 30, Leandro Paredes, 31. Those are the main players you're looking at in their midfield. This is not old. This is experience. So could Argentina... I still think Argentina has what it takes to win. But the only problem I have with Argentina going back-to-back is the history of the World Cup and teams going back-to-back. In the history of the FIFA World Cup, only 2 teams have gone back-to-back. Italy 1934, 1938, and the Great Brazil, 5-time champions, 1958, 1962. Yeah? So it's very difficult. Argentina, for one, they came close going back-to-back, winning 1986 and losing to West Germany, if memory serves me right, in 1990. So they came close. France, champions in 2018, lost in 2022.
Close, right.
So it's very difficult to go back-to-back. Not sure if Argentina has what it takes to go back-to-back, but top 2 teams for me, France, Spain in this one.
You were telling me something before I got to coach. You were telling me something, Irene, about Spain and the perhaps coincidences or the canny things that have fallen in place for them to win. Could you share that on here?
When they won in 2010, Juan Jose Mourinho, the previous season before the World Cup,
he was trophyless.
He was trophyless. Went to Real Madrid. The same thing.
Trophyless at Benfica.
Trophyless at Benfica in Portugal. Going back to Real Madrid.
Yes.
This time around. 2009, Spain had a plethora of Barcelona
players in the starting lineup.
In their squad. Yeah.
Okay.
This time around, similar number of players. 2010 when they won, what was the opening game of the 2010 World Cup?
South Africa and Mexico?
South Africa, Mexico. How many goals were scored in that match?
I don't remember.
2 goals, 1-1. How many goals scored in this one?
2-0.
2-0.
But still 2 goals.
Still 2 goals. Which 2 teams? Mexico, South Africa.
Yes.
I'm just saying.
And Spain were European champions as well.
Sir.
And they're not going to this tournament.
European champions going into the World Cup 2010, same thing. So I'm just saying, probably the stars are aligned for Spain. But one of their main players, Lamine Yamal, one of the hottest players on the planet right now.
Yes.
At 18 years old, I don't know if the lights at the FIFA World Cup will be too bright for him.
Very well.
We've seen very good players.
Coach?
Solid point.
Yes, and I was coming to you about that point, Coach, because Argentina has a fairly older team. Portugal seems to have a mixed age team. But you have Spain and France, which we've already analyzed. But from a coaching perspective, you know these things. Separate and apart from a league, for example, or a Champions League tournament, what more does it take to win the World Cup? Because I imagine that the strategy, if you want to top the table in a league, is different from a strategy in a club tournament, which is different from an international tournament of this nature. What is the strategy going into the World Cup for a young team like Spain with an 18-year-old leading the charge, or Argentina with a 38, 39-year-old Lionel Messi? What is the strategy going there?
Well, first of all, it's very interesting and completely 2 different systems. For me, in the World Cup, to win it, going from a Champions League tournament is like carrying a ton on your back, versus the World Cup, you're carrying 5 tons on your back. The weight is much heavier, right? A young team, as you said, like the Spain team with a lot of younger players, just like Orion just said, is the light too bright for them? What happens when they go out there and they start to feel the shivers on the knees, buckling and stuff like that? And then, it depends also on the coaches. When you talk about the coaches, I talk about Argentina now. An aging team, but still has good quality. Aging, not old. Right? The temperature will be very high over there. The coach's responsibility now is to rotate a lot, rest players. Messi can't play at the same pace for consecutive games, entire games. So how do you manage his time on the field? How do you recover him from game to game? Because Messi will have to be very important in their attack to get them going. He's still a very good attacking player, and he's also playing at a lower pace Inter Miami. He goes into the World Cup and he goes up against some of these tougher teams, and his demand will be much higher. So now the coaches have to diagnose a system of play that can suit these players and fit Messi into it to be very effective.
So less running for Messi and more
of his brain. Yes, more of his play. His brain. Give him less running, organize him, get him in positions where he can make those splitting passes, which is exceptional at. Stuff like that. So it boils down to the system of play. Just like you saw today, the South Africans had it totally wrong.
Mm-hmm. But for a young team like Spain, 18-year-old leading the charge, what's the strategy there then? You have that 18-year-old. How do you deal with that to get as far as possible to even win?
That's a lot of mental work. He has the talent. When you look at Lamine Yamal, he has the talent. Definitely has the talent. One of the flaws I've seen with him, he has a basic play where he drives you down to the right and cuts back in, and he has a great left foot curling the ball in the back of the net. I've seen one team shut him down once, and he got very frustrated because every time he cut back with the ball to go in, another player was there waiting for him. Yes. And I've seen that with Robin, it was from Netherlands when he was at Bayern, and they played against Real Madrid. And the same thing they did. Every time he went down the right and slipped in, he had one or two players waiting for him to shut him down. He never got frustrated. He was more mature, and he fought his way through it. Never got much result from it, but whereas Lamine is concerned, I've seen him getting so frustrated that sometimes the coach has to take him off the pitch. So it is going to be a lot of mental work with him, preparing him to deal with the limelight and also to maybe get another card up his sleeve, something else that he can do.
Got you.
He's very talented running at you.
Got
but
you.
Most of his plays is down the right and cutting in.
Got you. Has to change it up, yeah? Well,
definitely.
Thank you so much, former Reggae Girls head coach Charlie Edwards. Thank you so much, sir. And of course, Oreen, thanks a lot. Yeah? That's the cover story.
Gentlemen, thanks for having me. Have a good evening to you and all the listeners.
Yes, coach.
Appreciate it. Appreciate it. Good. Well, after the break and up to 8 o'clock, you will be hearing a delayed broadcast of the Jamaica Employers Federation's 42nd Annual Business and Workplace Convention and Expo. It's being brought to you by the Jamaica Employers Federation. Stay tuned.
Cover Story was brought to you by
Multilink. Roll with control. Use Multilink. Safe, fast, and accepted in more locations.
The time brought to you by Guardian Life. Live secure, live easy is...
A minute after 6 o'clock.
We a big deal when we touch ground. Yeah, I can't see when we're pulling up. Anything for the taste what we love. Barbecue, spicy and original, flavorful, crispy, irresistible. 3-piece with the fries and a Pepsi. Bro, get your one big deal, stop stress me. All when we dip on the toilet, no left foot.
Anything for the taste of a juicy, crunchy, irresistible KFC big deal. 3 pieces of delicious chicken, fries and Pepsi. KFC, it's finger licking good.
Mega Mart, best value by far. You can get it all here at Mega Mart. Mega Mart, best value by far. You can get it all here at Mega Mart.
Mega Mart, the best value by far. My Mega Mart,
the best value by far.
I just wanna have fun. So me send me a gold magnum, $700 give you one. That mean even if it's turn up.
Magnum, the champion of dancehall. Must be 18 years or older to drink. Drink responsibly.
As a taxi man, every mickle make a muckle. I see him way, so BCIC easy pay stay.
Having 11 months to pay my car and home insurance, little by little, puts me at ease.
Exactly. With my type of business, I have to fret about pay a big money, yet always covered.
Get as much as 11 months to pay your car and home insurance while enjoying 100% coverage with BCIC Easy Pay.
Welcome to Cliff Hughes Online. Today, we're coming to you from the Jamaica Employers Convention's 42nd Annual Business and Workplace Convention and Expo at the Summit Kingston, 16 Chelsea Avenue in Kingston. The theme of the convention this year, Rebuilding with Purpose, Turning Crisis into Opportunity. Very timely and most relevant. The discussions will focus on leadership, resilience, artificial intelligence, workforce development, productivity, occupational health and safety, and the future of work. And you'll hear me say later, the future of work is here. The future is not coming, it's here. The convention comes, of course, at a very critical moment as organizations across Jamaica seek practical solutions to remain competitive while investing in people and preparing for a rapidly changing global economy. Joining us today are key personalities and leaders from the convention who will help us understand what rebuilding with a purpose really means, what opportunities exist amid uncertainties, and how employers can play a leading role in shaping Jamaica's economic future. Stay with us as we unpack the issues, the solutions, and the vision emerging from the Jamaica Employers Federation Convention 2026. I'm Cliff Hughes, and this is Cliff Hughes Online. Welcome.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the President of the Jamaica Employers Federation, Wayne Christopher Chen.
The Honorable Pernell Charles Jr., Minister of Labor and Social Security, and valued friend and ally of the Jamaica Employers Federation, and a critical part of the tripartite arrangement, which I'm sure you will hear a bit more about as we go on today. The High Commissioner of Japan, Mr. Kohei Maruyama. And before I go on, today is the beginning of World Cup. And Japan is a country that's going to do very well in the World Cup, my prediction, but I've been known to be famously wrong on many of these issues. But we welcome you, Ambassador. From the High Commissioner of Canada, Mr. Michael Lazarus. From the High Commissioner of Nigeria, Mrs. Omolade Iyantan. Forgive me if I mispronounce your name. From the High Commission of the Republic of Trinidad and Tobago, Ms. Candice Guerra. From the Mayor of Portland, Mr. Paul Thompson. From Caribbean Jobs, a valuable sponsor and partner, Mrs. Kim Isava. From St. Andrew's Prep, Dr. Carl Blanchard. From DOT Professional Services, Mrs. Dotsy Gordon. From CPS Marketing, Antonio Christie. Mr. Robert Scott from Lifespan Water. I won't give you another endorsement, Mr. Scott, but it's my favorite Jamaican drinking water. Mr. Jason Barrow from Premix. And here we are today. It is to rebuild with purpose, the theme of our 42nd annual Jamaica Employers Federation Convention. Rebuilding with purpose, turning crisis to opportunity. It is hard to believe that we had the most devastating hurricane that this country has ever experienced. Just 7 months ago, I was hearing 8 months, and then I did the maths and realized it was just 7 months and 2 weeks ago. But as the Chinese say, the character for crisis is danger plus opportunity. The danger before us is that we rebuild without an eye on the risk of future exogenous shocks. We have really come through a tumultuous time, and I stand here, I've lost count of conventions where we stand here and say Jamaica is recovering from a crisis. Once upon a time, it was of our making, whether it was macroeconomic instability, whether it was disorder, whether it was all the other ills that have befallen us, and I will say challenges that have faced us since our independence 60-odd years ago. But over the last 6 years, we have had a really tumultuous time. A pandemic, Hurricane Beryl, and now Hurricane Melissa. And here we are, a resilient people. But the opportunity now is to rebuild our country better than before. Rebuild our country with an eye to the future risks. And there are many. The hurricane is the obvious one. They say that we get a devastating earthquake once every century. So we are overdue if we We'll go back to the Kingston and St. Andrew earthquake of 1907, so we are a few years past, and I'm not bringing down that fate on us, let me be very clear. But there are huge other challenges. One of the ones that I talk about often is the demographic challenge, and our colleague from Japan. I was in Japan just a few months ago, and when you see rapidly aging populations, and Jamaica falls in that category, where our birth rate, and I'm not making a plug here now for more children, it may well be for more immigration, but Minister, that is something that you and I and our colleagues in the labor union will have to discuss at some point. An aging population means we reorient ourselves differently. Technology, especially now, artificial intelligence, poses a threat and an opportunity because we have many, many jobs, especially concentrated in our business outsourcing sector, that are vulnerable to artificial intelligence. And we risk not just incremental loss of jobs, but we risk catastrophic losses of jobs if we are not properly prepared. The opportunities going forward, of course, in the physical infrastructure, in building back better, building back more resiliently. Yesterday, just to give an example, I was at an energy forum, and while we talk about moving into renewables, someone asked a pertinent question. When we saw the devastation of what was the largest solar farm in the English-speaking Caribbean destroyed by Melissa, do we still push forward in solar? And the answer is yes, but it will cost us more. It will cost us more than it would in a jurisdiction that does not have hurricanes. So we have to factor that in also. When we build back the new health centers, the new hospitals, the new homes, do we build them as they were before, or do we build them to a higher degree of wind and earthquake resistance? Do we build into them the ability to recycle water, to create their own energy, to create natural cooling using new technologies to make them more livable? Do we build back the infrastructure the same way? We see roads destroyed, we saw utilities, electricity distribution, water distribution destroyed. How do we build that back? So there are many things that we have to think about, but most important, since we are really focused on employers and the workplaces, how do we learn from what we have seen, learn from the destruction that has been wrought, learn from the disruptions that we have experienced, and build back better? The opportunity before us is clear. The difficulty in Jamaica has always been that we have never been short of ideas. We have never been short of analyses and studies. We have been short of implementation. So let us have a very productive 2 days. 2 days that will no doubt be action-packed, 2 days that you will be exposed to some great presenters, but more importantly, 2 days with you present, because all of you have your own unique experiences, your own unique perspectives, your own unique ways to add to what is a collective conversation. Last word on this, I mentioned the term tripartism. We believe in tripartism. We believe in social dialogue. We believe in social partnership, formal and informal. We believe in social consensus because, you know, nowadays we hear the buzzwords a lot, but it's more than a buzzword. Nowadays, more than I would have 40 years ago, 50 years ago when I first started paying close attention to policy making in this country. More and more, all of you can say, yeah, you've heard it. You hear about stakeholder engagement. Stakeholder engagement is really a new way of saying that social dialogue is important. So, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for being here. We're going to have a productive 2 days. I point to my friend in the crowd. So thank you, thank you, thank you, and welcome to the 42nd Workplace Convention of the Jamaica Employers Federation. Thank you.
Please join me in welcoming the Director General of the International Labour Organization, Gilbert F. Hungbo.
President Wayne Chen, distinguished representative of the Jamaica Employers Federation, it is a pleasure to address the 42nd Annual Business and Workplace Convention of the Jamaica Employers Federation. I regret that I cannot join you in person as your convention coincides with the closing days of the International Labour Conference in Geneva, where government, employers, and workers are gathered. That context reflects how closely Jamaica's conversations connect to the global debate on the future of work. Your theme, Rebuilding with Purpose, Turning Crisis to Opportunity, speaks directly to the challenges countries face today: economic uncertainty, climate pressures, demographic change, and the rapid advance of digital technologies and artificial intelligence. These transformations bring enormous potential. AI and digital innovation can help businesses become more productive, competitive, and resilient, while creating new industries and improving working conditions. But these benefits are not automatic. This year, my report to the International Labour Conference is entitled A Moment of Choice, Harnessing AI for Decent Work, reflecting a simple reality. The decisions government, employers, and workers make now will determine whether AI drives shared prosperity or deeper inequality. For countries like Jamaica, investment in people is therefore essential. Skills development, lifelong learning, digital literacy, and workforce adaptability must become central pillars of economic strategy. Employers, government, education institutions, and workers' organizations all have a role in preparing people not only for today's jobs, but for those emerging through technological change. This is where social dialogue is critical. The most successful transitions are those shaped through cooperation. Dialogue helps ensure that technology complement human capabilities, that productivity gains are shared fairly, and that innovation strengthens both enterprise performance and social cohesion. Jamaica has long demonstrated the value of this tripartite approach, and the Jamaica Employers Federation plays a central role in advancing enterprise development, productivity, workforce resilience, and the future of work. The ILO greatly values its long-standing partnership with Jamaica and with JEF. Colleagues, the conversations taking place at your convention and at the International Labour Conference are part of the same global effort to build a future of work that is productive, resilient, and human-centered, leaving no one and no enterprise behind. I wish the Jamaica Employers Federation a successful convention and look forward to our continued partnership.
Join me in welcoming to the 42nd Annual Convention of the Jamaica Employers Federation, Jamaica's Minister of Labor and Social Security, the Honorable Pernell P. Charles Jr., MP.
President of the Jamaica Employers Federation, Mr. Wayne Chen, Ambassador from Japan, or the representatives from the High Commissions, Mayor of Portland, all of the distinguished representatives from the various government agencies and partner institutions. It's a good day today. Exhibitors, delegates, speakers, sponsors, friends. We're just getting back from Geneva, where we had a meeting with the Director General, who actually sent his recording. And it's in that meeting that I was able to have a conversation with one of the representatives from the ILO. And you know, sometimes it takes you to listen to how the world sees Jamaica to really appreciate who we are. This amazing country that continues to punch way above its weight. A country that is upset when we come third in the Olympics. Vex if the 4x1 says silver. A country that has gone through now the catastrophic impact of Hurricane Melissa, Hurricane Beryl the year before, and COVID, the pandemic from 2020. And I tell you, I don't know if it is just my luck, but when in March 2020, you remember, was my by-election, and I was asked to move from Senate and to become an MP. And I remember the night of the election when we were getting the results. It was March 2nd, 2020. I called home and I said, oh, listen, I'm taking 3 weeks off. It was 5 days later that COVID was announced. And it would go on to be that my constituency, of which I was a brand new MP, was the first constituency to have a death from COVID. The only constituency to have 2 different areas in the one place that were quarantined. And yes, just to say, from that date until now, we have been going. But Jamaica did not collapse under the weight of the adversity. Jamaica was able to instead demonstrate resilience, demonstrate adaptability and determination. And that's why being here at the 42nd conference and really seeing the deliberate framing of rebuilding with purpose, turning crisis into opportunity. It's not just about Jamaica Employers Federation. It is the Jamaica Employers Federation perspective of Jamaica and our journey as a people. And I want to commend you, President, and your team. And I want to commend you not just for the principal role that Jeff has played as a member of the Labour Advisory Council and the Tripartite, which distinguishes Jamaica. And when we're at the ILO, I must tell you, people are calling to us, Mr. Reid, to say, how is Jamaica doing it? They're looking on us. The world sees Jamaica, regardless of whatever is happening, as leadership in the region. And they want to know. That's why Jamaica was selected to lead out in the ILO discussions on social dialogue and tripartism. And I must tell you, we did well. We did a very good job. And in our national statement, we were able to reaffirm our commitment as a government, as employers, as the workers, to this social dialogue that has allowed us for so long to have an inherent natural ability to know that we're putting Jamaica first. Because of the strength of our posture as a country, we were even asked to now form part of the drafting committee for many of the very important standards that are being drafted now in Geneva. So I had to leave Mr. Kennedy there. Right? And they're now, while we speak, in the middle of committees that are going to be framing the regulations and the standards around the platform economy and around all of these areas of interest towards the future of work. So, when we talk about rebuilding with purpose and turning crisis into opportunity, it is timely, it is relevant, it speaks to the reality of Jamaica. And like many other countries, we have had no choice but to navigate the challenges while finding opportunities for growth, for innovation, and for resilience. And for us, this theme is meaningful. Over the past years, what we've seen is that many of your members, many business owners, entrepreneurs have been forced to adjust operations. And many sectors have experienced shocks beyond just the climate and other impacts to the country. So we have seen unemployment fall last year to its lowest 3.3%, and now we're hovering between 3.5 and 3.6. So these are good positive indicators, but there's still much more for us to do. And we, at the Ministry of Labour, speak to those issues. Myself, CTD Nelson, who is here, and others at the Jamaica Productivity Center constantly have conversation around how do we ensure that as we have low unemployment, we also have high productivity and continue to make Jamaica move towards being competitive across the world. A world that is seeing a shrinking global environment, where you have persons perhaps in this audience who, if I ask you where you live, some of you might give me the wrong answer. Yes, because you have persons who might be in Jamaica today, gone to America tomorrow, have business in England, or might just be online. And none of your business is in Jamaica, but you're right here. Could be in St. Mary, cock up your foot, drinking a coconut water, while you're doing some kind of trade between Alibaba and Amazon. This is a new world. And these are the things that we are contemplating, confronting. That's why the discussions at the ILO, for instance, now are moving aggressively into what do we intend to do as this tripartite to take on the issues, the evolving nature of the platform economy. A world where TikTok might bring you more revenue than SuperValu. Well, not your SuperValu. Maybe my... But that's our reality. And it is something which I want, if anything else, for the Jamaica Employers Federation to understand that the government sees it as our issue, not your issue. It's our issue. Your success is our success. And I know that there are some members, some owners, some persons who have taken the risk to invest in Jamaica, who have had to confront disruptions in supply chains, who have had to confront the shifting consumer behavior as well, and also who have had now to rethink how services will be delivered. Things are changing rapidly. I don't know how many persons here have ChatGPT or Claude. How many? You have a few? I know Dr. Shim, you have all of them on our phone. Well, if you don't, well, get it. Hurry up. Because the reality is that what we see emerging is a frame of mind where persons almost see this as offensive. If I have to use AI, does it mean that I am lesser than, deficient? I can't do it? Well, let me tell you, there was a time when my great-grandmother, well, maybe grandmother, must have seen the calculator in the same way. You're supposed to use paper and do maths. What kind of foolish is that? And now, I am certain none of us need to know what is pi times 2.992. I mean, it's just not sensible anymore. Things are shifting. Things have shifted. And so we also have to adapt our minds. So when you look on COVID, when you look on Beryl, when you look on Melissa, it is forcing us to rebuild with purpose. It is forcing us to define the avenues to truly turn crisis into opportunity. And what we defined it as in the national statement to the world last week was that we would be redefining resilience to ensure that the lessons that have been learned, the lessons in the recovery, meant not returning to business as usual, but rather to build stronger enterprises, to build forward stronger, to more resilient workplaces, to a labor market that is better equipped to withstand future shocks. And this means embracing innovation. Yes, embracing innovation. It means investing in our people, strengthening productivity, and ensuring that businesses have the tools and the support needed to remain competitive. That is why, in this rapidly changing global economy, the government is not sitting back and waiting. And if you listen to the sectorial, you would have noticed that we mentioned a number of task forces and a number of committees that are being put together, not as a means of running in to frighten any business owner or any sector, but rather to work together in a proactive way before anything takes place, to ensure that we are ready as a people to take on the uncertainties. The only thing certain is that we have uncertainties ahead. I must tell you, I gave you the story of what happened to me when I became a new MP. New MP, 1 week later, COVID. But take Hurricane Beryl. Hurricane Beryl came in 24 when I had become the Minister of Labor and Social Security, a ministry which usually, it's not as hectic. Boy, I can tell you, the PS is shaking her head to say, well, that's how it looked from outside. But imagine you are the Minister of Labor and Social Security for not too long, and you become also the Member of Parliament with the most totally destroyed homes after Hurricane Beryl. This is a story of resilience for all of us. And you pray heavily that there'll be no other hurricanes. And remember when Hurricane Melissa was coming in Mayor, where was it going first? No, not just Clarendon. It was heading straight for Rocky Point. Yes, but I'm saying, beyond just Clarendon. Remember now, I had gone through Beryl. It was heading, the line was going straight to Rocky Point, straight through Hayes, straight to Palmer's Cross. At that time, I'd be living in Portland. So, I think I've had a front seat view of our journey in terms of the resilience and us confronting all of the uncertainties. And I must tell you the truth. I'm proud of our people. I'm so proud of our people. Because in all of that, I know several entrepreneurs, several business owners who lost but still were with me, walking side by side, volunteering, giving of whatever they had left. I know several who protected their employees. I know several who did everything that they could to make sure that they gave to their community. And so it was never just an individual means of rebounding. And I think that is truly to be commended, and I want to use the opportunity just to acknowledge the members of the Jamaica Employers Federation and all in Jamaica who form that tripartite, because it is not the government alone, it is all of us who have been able to really make Jamaica a place where the international community looks on us. And even though we don't see it that much, I must tell you, the IMF publicly stated that Jamaica possessed the financial buffers that other countries only dream of. The World Bank has spoken about us. All of the institutions of global ratings have looked on us after COVID, after Beryl, after Melissa, and said, how are you rebounding stronger? It is because we have a people that have come together and determined that our sacrifice and our service will lead to success. So permit me to take the opportunity to ask that you just give yourself a round of applause. It couldn't be done without you. Today, this expo is going to display products, services. It's a space for innovation, learning, networking. And I've done this many times, I'll do it again, in asking that you challenge yourself. You know, when you come to this kind of audience where everybody is independent, you don't need me, I don't need you. You have what's in your pocket, you're good, you own your business. You can tell, you can see it in the aura of independence. And so sometimes what happens is that you don't think you need to talk to anybody. This is exactly the space where you need to challenge yourself to make sure that you meet new people. And so I hope that today you will not just say hello to those you have met before, but that you will use the opportunity to meet as many in the audience. Meet the young, meet the old, meet everyone. I want to encourage you to network, because that is where you will be able to share your experiences and really help each other through this technological change that's taking place. We're confronting climate disruptions, we're confronting artificial intelligence and other technological transformations, and we're confronting a demographic shift. And in doing so, it demands that we are strategic. And so this expo is an excellent way for us, an excellent opportunity for us to exchange ideas, to discover new solutions, for us to build partnerships and to help work and workers to succeed together. So as you engage over the next 2 days, I want to encourage you to meet, to network, to greet, and not only to look on what is now, but to look on the opportunities that are to come. We have to continue to build a resilient Jamaica. We don't know what will happen this year. I'm not even going to say it. I don't know how you're so brave to even call down that. I'm careful, because my grandmother told me that whatever I say happens. So I will not say it. You're calling me a goat? Who was that? I've been called worse things, it's all right. But truly, this is our country. And I really want to, again, ensure and assure you that the government is here to work with you. The Productivity Center will be there to help you to define how you can be more productive. The various arms of the ministry will be there to help you if you have to strengthen the mindset and the attitude of your workers. The Heart Trust, who is one of your diamond sponsors, I realize, is consistently there as an amazing institution, recognized globally now in providing skills training. And together, we will be able to remove the fear and to allow persons to see the opportunities that will flow, particularly with the technology. So I want to congratulate you as I close. I want to congratulate your sponsors who are here. And I heard a very long list of sponsors, and we thank them for the support that they're giving to this expo, to all of the exhibitors, to the delegates who are here, the partners for the staging of the 42nd Annual Business and Workplace Convention. Thank you for participating. It gives me now great pleasure on behalf of the, perhaps I should call you a president. Yes. So, I wasn't going home. I was just going to open the expo. I mean, yeah. But yes, it gives me great pleasure to declare the Jamaica Employers Convention 2026 Expo officially open. I wish you success. Wonderful. Thank you.
Please welcome Cordell Williams, the second Vice President of the Jamaica Employers Federation, to move the vote of thanks.
Thank you to all our high commissions, Japan, Canada, Nigeria, Trinidad and Tobago, for coming out and celebrating with us today. And also, yes, please give them a hand. I'd also like to thank our sponsors, and though it's a long list, I'm going to attempt to go through it really fast. Heart Trust, Caledonia Outdoor Advertising, NHG, NCB, Ministry of Labor, Sagicor Life, Caribbean Jobs, Jamaica Broilers, Aggregates Limited, Dot Professional Services, Monographic Printers, Infinity Cooperative Credit Union, Spectrum Insurance, CPSM Office Supplies, UTEC, DC Stationery, Island Smiles, and Impressions Stationery. Give them a big hand. We wouldn't be here without them. I'd also like to acknowledge our president, Wayne Chen. Give him a big, big hand. Right? The head of the ILO, Mr. Gilbert Hongbo, director of the ILO, and of course, Minister Charles, dear Minister Charles, right? Thank you for your perspectives that you shared this morning in terms of the changes relating to AI, environmental shifts, demographic shifts. It's indeed a season of change. And like John Maxwell said, change is inevitable. Who knows the rest? Growth is? Nobody? Growth is optional. And like the Director General said, it's a choice. And I want to say special thank you to all of you in the crowd because you have made the choice to be here with us today, to be prepared to seize the opportunities for growth and development. You have made the choice to demonstrate resilience, adaptability, and determination. So give yourselves a big round of applause. Where's Ryan? I'm gonna try again, right? So we're not gonna lay any further, right? I deserve a hand for that. I'll give you another piece. People, are you ready? Okay, so are you ready for the next 2 days? Yes, because over the next 2 days, we'll be talking everything relating to rebuilding with purpose, and how to turn crisis into opportunity. So where do we go from here? We go downstairs, where the minister will officially open the conference and exhibition, and then we proceed into networking and coffee break. And persons who, I understand some persons would have registered already, but some persons may not have registered. Those who have not registered during the coffee break and networking, you can take the opportunity to do that. But at 11:15 sharp, we come together, 11:15, mark your times, to begin the concurrent sessions. You'll be hearing everything about flexible work, arrangements, crisis management, quiet firing, leading with intention in these times of change. And then we will proceed into lunch and then come back for the general session. And we'll have some further concurrent sessions throughout the day. And of course, we'll hear from our sponsors. And then we'll have a closeout on a high with David Cohen giving us another general session. And, you know, it's just going to be an amazing time. It's our 42nd birthday, I would say. And let's celebrate and let's have fun. Thank you so much.
Welcome back to Cliff Hughes Online. We're coming to you from the 42nd Annual Convention of the Employers Federation. And it is our pleasure to be joined by the President of the Federation, businessman Wayne Chen. Good morning, Mr. President.
Morning, Mr. Hughes. Good to have you here under our umbrella again.
Yes, and I was reflecting on my way in here this morning that I can't recall how many Employers Federation I've covered.
Quite a few.
Exactly.
I've lost count.
Yes, and because this is 42 now,
yes,
the 42nd one.
Yes, yes.
Yeah, it's an institution that is now part of the fabric of the society.
It is.
Yeah.
And as you can see from the theme, we don't just choose themes that might be of interest to employers. We always have an eye on where we are in national development.
Yes.
And I want to make a plug here for non-state actors. Our time horizon is much longer than the electoral cycle. So we see ourselves as a valuable player in national development in that we have the luxury of thinking longer term than a government that has to think of an election every 5 years.
True, true.
And in partnership, and I want to salute our comrades in the union and the labor leadership. That is how we have approached our perspective on policy making and issues of national development.
Yes, and that tripartite relationship that we have forged has produced, and I want to hear you on this, has produced a sustained period of industrial relations, peace and stability in this country, unlike prior years, decades.
Those of us who have a memory of the 1960s and the 1970s,
yes.
You remember a famous song that came out at the end of the 60s, Everything Crashed.
Oh, yes.
Because big national strikes were a weekly occurrence. And ironically, at a time of great economic growth in the country, but growth at the time was not inclusive.
Yes.
And we've learned, as a young nation, and we are still a young nation, now 64 years old,
yes.
That we are learning our way and feeling our way along, and we have made some left turns and some right turns. I don't want to say wrong turns, because every mistake is a prelude to doing it better.
Yes.
Here we are now, rebuilding with purpose.
Exactly. Turning crisis into opportunity.
Every crisis is danger plus opportunity.
You're not only president of the Employers Federation. You have been in business, you have been in commerce, you have been in politics, yes? And now you're also a historian.
Not officially, you know.
No. There's no such demarcation as what is official based on your output.
One thing I learned, if the book is not written, you have to write it.
Yeah.
If the people are on social media and this is where you want the message to go, put it on social media. The only reason I'm not on TikTok is I find TikTok a bit addictive.
Yes.
So when I make a little more time, I may well be on TikTok or the next social media platform to get the message out.
Yes. But it is so important what you do with it, because the generations of today, those people who were born after 1990, 1980 in Jamaica, their knowledge and grasp of the issues before that is very limited.
It is, and people of my generation tend to forget or not even grasp the fact that Jamaica has a median age of around 30. Which means that half the people alive in Jamaica today were born after 1996.
Exactly.
So when we talk about the 70s and we talk about the 60s, we may as well be talking about the 19th century or the 1940s.
Yeah.
So because it is a historical memory, or a generation or two removed. But for those of us who have lived and experienced Jamaica, growing up with independence and growing up in independent Jamaica, we understand the lessons of the past, and we also looking overseas and seeing the risk of the loss of national memory. That populism can
thrive.
Populism thrives, and accelerated and amplified in an age of artificial intelligence.
Right.
Where fake news, where wrong information can inflame passions or take the country on a wrong turn. So we have to build that memory.
Yeah, and that's a nice segue for me, because part of what you're doing at the convention this year is looking at the future of work.
Yes.
And in particular, the emerging technologies.
Yes.
Yeah, not only the social media platforms, you speak of TikTok, but AI.
Yes.
That can really generate information now that more and more people are gravitating to and will continue to do so, but the dangers. Talk to me about how we have to maneuver that, where the future of work is concerned. And the work future is here.
The future is here. One of the great things about technology, because we have lived to see the rise of the internet, we have lived to see the rise of personal computing, mobile internet. There have just been terrific and exciting technological breakthroughs over the last 30 years. I'm watching a movie now and I see people with an old landline, and it looks ancient. People walking around with those cell phones, it seems ancient.
Yes.
But with every new technology, every disruptive technology, of course, comes danger. Hence my focus on building institutional memory. We have to build that knowledge, build that confidence, because that wisdom is knowledge applied. But without knowledge, there's no wisdom.
Yes.
So we have to guard against the dangers. But I want to say this. Technology is succeeding, and disruptive technology is a danger, but it's also a productivity enhancer. That's the first thing. Second thing, we are the beneficiaries of this technology. Other people are developing it elsewhere. You talked about Anthropic
I know the Chinese are building huge data centers now to compete with the Americans, but we are the beneficiaries of other works. But we now have to put ourselves personally in a position to benefit. And I say this, the issues are not technological, the issues are a mindset issue. We have to liberate our minds personally. My tech advisors, who happen to be 16 years old, call me a boomer, and they say disparagingly, boomer. Whenever I have an issue with my phone or internet or an app, I hand it to them and say, come and explain it to me.
Exactly.
My mission now as a boomer is to hand the baton over gracefully to new generations. Not to design a world of my making for them to live in, but to understand the world as it is going and prepare them to grasp hold of the world that's coming. One of the beauties now of technology is that it has made us being a small island less relevant. Geography has become less relevant. If we learn how to join the global virtual economy, it will allow us to live in the beautiful island that we have inherited, among beautiful people that we have nurtured and become friends and family with, but enjoying the fruits of a global economy.
Yeah.
But we have to prepare for it.
Exactly. Let me ask you, Mr. President, you have said employers must lead through change rather than respond to it. What does that leadership look like?
The leadership looks like,
in practical terms,
I used to have a running joke, From time to time, I have introduced various ministers of government at functions like this. And I was chided gently by a former Minister of Finance for introducing him to a new concept of database policy making. Because one of the things we have learned in Jamaica is a lot of policy making has been based on vibes, personal feeling, and not enough on data. One of the things that we will continue to bang the drum for is getting better information, sharing information, making decisions based on information, measure what can be measured, trying to find ways to measure things that we often have not measured. But really pushing for that. There's a term I want to share. It's a term that comes from the IT world, but it's open source policy making. You heard me on it earlier. You will hear me on it until they put me in the grave. I believe in social dialogue. I believe in partnership and consensus. We have been at it a long time. You may not recall, but the first time we sat down for an interview was actually 30 years ago, almost exactly. It was yourself, Winston Witter, and myself in a TV studio. But that was 1996.
Wow.
So this conversation has been going on for a little while.
Yes, yes.
And the themes have not changed much. It's how do we forge a national consensus around a national identity? That sounds highfalutin. Here we are now with people who are going back to their desks on Monday morning. I want them to take away from this. How do I change my mindset? Not just to have a better tool to enhance my personal productivity, but how do I look at everybody around me and say, what are the new processes we will adapt to embed values of lifelong learning, of adaptability, of personal productivity and institutional and organizational productivity, of looking around and surveying the world for opportunities that we can do here in Jamaica. One of the things that we don't say enough, separate and apart from the massive exogenous shocks, the pandemic, 2 hurricanes, the tropical storms, we have to see too the coming issues. It was macroeconomic instability once upon a time. We can't take it for granted because there's always a pressure to let us eat some of the seeds rather than continue to plant seeds. We have an aging population. I just said a while ago that our median age in Jamaica is 30.
Yes.
Almost imperceptibly, we have moved from a fertility rate in Jamaica of 6 in 1970 when we started, 2 is better than too many, to around 1.4 today, which is way below replenishment rate. When you add to that our high rate of net emigration, we have an aging population. We have fewer and fewer young people who now will have to be caring for people who can't even retire anymore. So we have the demographic shift, which is happening very rapidly.
Huge macroeconomic planning and micro planning.
Absolutely. So all the things that we have been feeling our way around, we have to now find a much quicker way to get the policies implemented, to get things done, to make some hard political decisions, which will mean consensus. I can't go to a councillor in rural Jamaica and say, the school is only half filled, or the health center, we can't justify the cost of a health center, or a road going up to a mountain community, the cost benefit is not there. We should be having conversations now around the consolidation of social services. If we are going to strengthen the social safety net, what does that look like, and how much is that shared cost? How much is that employer cost? How much is that individual cost? What are the opportunities? What should education look like? How quickly should we transform it so it can respond to threats and opportunities?
Yeah.
There is so much. I don't want to take you up into the ocean.
But we are at the Employers Federation convention. I have to ask you before we go, what is it you're hearing most frequently from your members in terms of business and doing business today?
It's a difficult business climate. Jamaica is a small, vulnerable, open economy. There's a concentration risk, as we would have seen, that a heavy concentration in hospitality industries and the linked industries, a heavy concentration in agriculture, where many of our workers are, makes us particularly vulnerable. A heavy concentration now, 70,000 people in the BPO sector, makes us vulnerable. We hear the concerns around, you will see that we have a couple of sessions dealing with personal psychology counseling. There are mental health issues out there. We are a society that has been traumatized, not only by exogenous shocks, but historically high levels of violence and poverty. We are hearing that we need solutions. When we go to work, how do we motivate the people around us? How do we get people into the attitude, a can-do attitude of getting things done, of not just ticking boxes, but looking at outcomes, of personal development, of grasping opportunities. One of the ironies is, I know you grew up as a reader, I grew up as a reader. But when we were growing up, we would have to go to the local library to access information.
Yes.
When I tell the folks around us who have the latest iPhone or the latest Samsung Galaxy, that you have the most powerful tool in your hand, turn that tool into a productivity enhancer. Turn that tool into a working device, a teaching, a learning device.
Yes.
We can learn, but we have to learn. We have to have that attitude of critical thinking, of personal development, of using data to drive decisions. I focus and I emphasize social dialogue. It's not just a box to tick. It is how do we network and make the sum, the whole greater than the sum of the parts. I want to leave one African saying with you. I'm an old man, I can tell you proverbs. If you want to go far, go alone, fast. If you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together.
Say that again.
If you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together. I believe that we must go together. We learn we learn the lessons that we have learned, and we can do so much more when we cooperate, when we share, when we are open, when we build trust, because it's going to be a tough journey, but we can do it.
I learned something again from Wayne Chen. If you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together. Mr. President, President of the Employers Federation, Wayne Chen, thank you.
Thank you much.
Good. Time for the break.
Imagine your money growing faster without stress. At Money Masters, choose an option from our collective investment scheme funds. Lead with the high-performing M7 Real Estate Fund. Pick the Money Builder Fund for steady income, the Growth Fund for bond gains, or the Equity Fund for stock market growth. There's a fund built for everybody. Call 876-754-1980 or email the word INVEST to info@moneymastersgroupja.com. Money Masters, where your biggest financial dreams become reality.
Campari, Red Passion. 3 bills that are for your drink, and 18 bills for the floss. Aye, They are the bar, just get a text. Buy for your link up, she want make a flex. Buy a Campari, you know what's next. Ashley, I call up, wifey, don't vex. Head to your nearest community bar and get your Campari for the recommended drink price of $300 for a drink and $1,800 for the flask. Campari, red passion, must be 18 years or older to drink. Drink responsibly.
For all your electrical needs, visit ABC Electrical Sales. They stock a wide variety of electrical supplies, including plugs, switches, panel boards, and conduits, plus energy-saving fixtures. ABC Electrical Sales stocks brands like GE, Siemens, Philips, Cutler Hammer, and Allen Bradley. They also offer free island-wide delivery just to suit your needs. Visit them at Shop 8, Hagley Park Plaza, Kingston 10, or call 876-754-3714-5 or 876-754-3825-8. ABC Electrical Sales, for a better choice in the electrical business.
Jamaicans at home and abroad, and friends of Jamaica across the globe. Here's your opportunity to help shape Jamaica's future. The Biennial Jamaica Diaspora Conference returns for its 11th staging at the Montego Bay Convention Center, June 14 to 18, 2026. Under the theme Diaspora Partnerships, Rebuilding a More Resilient Jamaica. Connect with decision makers, explore investment opportunities, and build partnerships that drive real impact across trade, technology, sustainability, security, youth development, and more. This is Jamaica's moment, and Montego Bay is where it begins. Register now and play your part in building a more resilient Jamaica.
Remember the first time, the first glance, the first touch, and rediscover that feeling. At Couples Resorts, every stay feels like the first time all over again. Escape to a couples-only, all-inclusive paradise with gourmet dining, premium cocktails, and unforgettable ocean views, all included. Jamaican residents can celebrate with exclusive rates from $405 USD per night, valid through April 30th. Visit couples.com/residence. Couples Resorts, like the first time, every time.
Love the vibes, the laughs, and the real talk? Then you're one of us. Don't just listen, belong. Join the nationwide 90FM Family Club on Patreon.
When life brings dreams, both big and small, you need a place that welcomes all. A helping hand, a friendly way. CNWJ Kennedy Union. People who care. Community full of pride. I belong.
Serving Jamaica since 1961. CNWJ Cooperative Credit Union. Discover the benefits of belonging.
We a big deal when we touch ground. Yeah, I can't see when we're pulling up. Anything for the taste what we love. Barbecue, spicy and original, flavorful, crispy, irresistible. 3-piece with the fries and a Pepsi. Bro, get your one big deal, stop stress me. All when we dip on the toilet, no left feet. It's a big deal. Anything for the taste of a juicy, crunchy, irresistible KFC big deal. 3 pieces of delicious chicken, fries and Pepsi. KFC, it's finger licking good.
Commercial spaces for you. Parks and attractions for you. Housing and residential developments for you. Beautiful rental properties for you. Improving quality of life through infrastructure development across Jamaica for you. The Urban Development Corporation, making development happen for you. Brought to you by the Urban Development Corporation.
UDC for you.
This is Nationwide's FIFA World Cup Fact.
Did you know that Oleg Salenko sets the record for most goals by an individual in a single FIFA World Cup game? Yes, that's a fact. Russia dismantled Cameroon 6-1 in June of 1994 during a group stage match in the USA. Salenko scored 5 of them. The record stands to this day, and Salenko earned himself a share of the tournament's Golden Boot for reaching 6 total goals scored. That record comes with an interesting bit of trivia. He's the only player to earn a Golden Boot without playing a single knockout round game.
That was Nationwide's FIFA World Cup Fact.
This football
season. Don't just watch the action, be part of it. With Chris and Charles Score Big Loan Promotion, upgrade your TV, plan that trip, or handle what matters most, fast and easy. And here's the best part. Every loan gives you a chance to win one of 3 58-inch smart 4K TVs. So while your favorite team scores on the field, you could be scoring big too. Promotion runs May 11 to July 20, 2026. Visit any branch or Chris and Charles for details. Conditions apply. Authorized under Section 58.3 of the Betting, Gaming and Lotteries Act. Score big this football season on and off the field.
For 25 years, Digicel has been keeping Jamaica better connected. From late night calls to the texts, clicks, and moments that keep us close.
Hi, babe.
A network built in Jamaica for Jamaicans. But connection has never been just about the network. It's about the people behind every hello.
Yo, my general.
Celebrating 25 years. Digicel, powered by you, connected by us.
For all your electrical needs, visit ABC Electrical Sales. They stock a wide variety of electrical supplies, including plugs, switches, panel boards, and conduits, plus energy-saving fixtures. ABC Electrical Sales stocks brands like GE, Siemens, Philips, Cutler Hammer, and Allen Bradley. They also offer free island-wide delivery just to suit your needs. Visit them at Shop 8, Hagley Park Plaza, Kingston 10, or call 876-754-3714-5 or 876-754-3825-8. ABC Electrical Sales, for a better choice in the electrical business.
If you've ever called in, shared your story, or got help on this show, then you're already family. Now make it official. Join the nationwide 90 FM Family Club today on Patreon.
I now officially declare the Jamaica Employers Federation 42nd Annual Workplace and Business Convention open.
Welcome back to Cliff Hughes Online. We are coming to you from the 42nd Annual Convention of the Employers Federation at the Summit, Kingston. And we have joining us now the Minister of Labor and Social Security. Yes?
Yes, sir.
He says when he got the job in his speech this morning, he didn't anticipate that it would have been so hectic. Yeah? But having gone into the ministerial seat, a lady by the name of Beryl struck. And then, no, it was COVID first, when he became a young member of Parliament for Southeast Clarendon. And then when he got the ministerial chair, he was hit by Beryl. And the following year, Melissa. How are you?
Let me tell you, I'm giving thanks. In all of that, I said that, and then I say to tell you, Jamaica still stands strong. I'm standing strong. And I am amazed by our people every day. Yeah. And I don't mean the ministers and the government. I mean, yes, the government has done amazing. Our Prime Minister, hats off to the decisions, the contingency, and all the things that have been done. But I'm talking about during Melissa, the market vendor who come out and said, Mr. Charles, I have some things in the back. Your team get any water yet? I'm talking about the employers, members of the JEF, who lost a lot and still secretly said to me, we're trying our best to keep people on staff.
Yeah.
There's no work, but we're going to pay them.
Yeah.
There's so many stories of resilience that have caused us as a country, as a nation, to be seen internationally as very dynamic and very distinguished. It's the story of when you look on yourself, you don't know. You don't see what other people see, but the world. I'm just coming from Geneva. And when we stood up to give our national statement, you could see persons looking. They want to hear what Jamaica is saying. They want to know how we have done it. How we come out of COVID stronger. You bounce through Beryl, and then you move to your lowest unemployment the year after. Doesn't make sense, but it makes sense because we're a country that's led by the Almighty, a country that has a strong tripartite, not just a talk, When we sit down with Mr. Wayne Chen, St. Patrice Ennis, and the teams from the JCTU, the Jamaica Employees Federation, and the government, it's Jamaica first. On all parts, all three.
Yes.
And I think that's really what has led us to be chosen in the ILO as the leaders to move the discussion on social dialogue. Jamaica, little Jamaica. We led the discussions on social dialogue, tripartism. After our national statement was heard, they walked over to me and said, Minister, we'd like to ask your team to join the drafting committee.
Oh.
So I had to leave Mr. Kennedy there. He's there for another week to be a part of the committee that's going to formulate the standards globally, not
Who's
for the
Mr.
region.
Kennedy?
Well, my senior director in the labor division. So we're punching way above our weight.
Yeah.
And now this conversation that Jeff is having is the perfect representation of what Jamaica needs to do. And you heard the Prime Minister. You've heard me. Building forward stronger. This is it.
Yeah.
Building
with purpose.
Yes, this is it.
Turning crisis into opportunity.
Purpose.
Yeah.
Purpose means we're not just going to rebuild. We're going to rebuild in a way that makes sure we can withstand and make sure that we can have the vision turned into reality. That's what it is. And turning crisis into opportunity. That's what we've been doing.
Let me pick up there because recently some people in Parati, in St. Elizabeth, have been saying that, listen, they're not too sure about this rebuilding because they want to be near the sea. Because they are fisher folk.
But can't you understand it?
Sure.
I can understand it.
How, though, you're going to communicate with them to bring them on board?
Let's remind them what happened in October.
October 28th.
Yeah. I walked it the week, and I have never, I've never seen, when you see a tree where not only the leaves have been torn off, but the bark torn off the trunk. So again, nobody expects it to be an easy, smooth process to remove you from what you have called home. But I believe that this government has retained the credibility in persons seeing that our decisions, even those that have been questioned and challenged and rebuked, when implemented, the same persons that have questioned and challenged and rebuked have asked for more. Remember 1.5? Now I'm hearing that people want 2.5. Right?
All right. So let me pivot back to the convention. Yes? You made mention in your speech the fact that the AI revolution is upon us. The future of work is upon us. The future is here. Yeah? And you made mention of Claude, yes? Was it Gemini and ChatGPT?
Gemini, Grok, you have many of them.
They're just
and many more coming.
They're coming in droves. I will see the rise of the tech giants, Anthropic, and then I know here OpenAI is going to be hitting the market as well.
Yes.
So they're going to keep on coming.
That's right.
For you as Minister of Labour and as a government, I know the government has put together a task force. Yes. What is the critical mission for you? Yeah, when you look at the onslaught that is upon us, how are we going to deal with it?
It's an excellent question, and very quickly, you approach this the same way you approach climate disruptions. It's about building resilience, which means you have to look on what proactive approaches you have to put in place to upskill persons, to ensure persons who are displaced, and they will be displaced, are able to transition to things that are either more high-skilled or similar, but in other sectors. And you have to encourage persons to embrace the innovation. I gave the example, there was a time when you had to do maths on paper, you had to write 2 + 2. And if you use this thing that they're trying to put in place, it's devil business. Now the calculator is everywhere, it's on your phone. So it's going to take us time to fully understand that you don't have control over this anymore. It's already integrated. All you can do is try to hold on to the steering wheel, put your left hand on the gear and manage it. And that's what the government is doing. That's what we did. When we were at the ILO, we had the conversations around the platform economy. How are we going to put in place the standards to ensure that people who are working at home are still protected? How are we going to ensure that they're integrated into the government system so that they know what to do and what are the standards for the working environment? How are we going to train with heart and with the Ministry of Labour to make sure that our workforce is ready to utilize AI and to build it? We don't always want to be on the back end of using. Right. We want to encourage. That's why I went and did a class. To understand it fully. And we are supporting those organizations that are training our youngsters in this kind of innovation so that they can be the ones developing artificial intelligence, not just being the users of it. So we want to be at the forefront and the cutting edge of this kind of innovation, primarily because when you look on the design of our country, we're small, we're powerful, we're in a geographical location that attracts tourists and hurricanes. To use this innovation in an optimum way will allow us to truly maximize redefining resilience. If you put it into Claude now or into ChatGPT, give me the 10 most effective mechanisms to build resilience in parity. It will give you a design. And if you can find other ways to expand the use of AI to help restructure, it's going to be powerful in ensuring we avoid mistakes. It's not always perfect, but it will give us a trajectory that usually is much more improved than what we can do without the AI.
And part of the mission of this generation of leaders in politics, industry, academia, communities is building knowledge.
That's right.
As to how to use it positively.
That's right.
Yeah?
You can use it both ways. I tell you that.
Yeah, and that is a threat that we need to look at.
It is imminent. I take my children. I say this to them all the time. I say, this thing that you're going in the room with is a tool that can carry you left or right. Know how to use it wisely. It ain't about daddy. It's about your brain. Whatever you feed your brain is what will come out of your mouth, and that will affect what you do and who you are. It's the same thing with AI. And so, again, it's about preparing, training, upskilling, managing, and making sure that we as a government set the framework, the parameters within which we expect this to operate in a productive way. That's the goal. I mean, PM said it, peace and productivity. Crime is going down. I mean, that has been an amazing positive achievement. Now what we need to do is make sure that we balance the low unemployment, 3.3% last year, 3.5, 3.6 now, with high productivity and high competitiveness. When we get those three things aligned, the big problem I will have is working with the Ministry of National Security to have border control.
Yes.
Because we're going to have a lot of people
coming in,
rushing. What? Listen to me, man. I'm one who moved back home.
Yes.
I have
You're
persons,
returning.
Yes. I have persons calling me left, right, and center about land in Jamaica. Left, right, and center. I have persons who have worked their entire life in England, Canada, US. But they want a piece of the country, despite the hurricanes, because when you look on the global climate, everybody wants to be where they feel safest. If you have a Jamaica that is safe, the opportunity is limitless. And that's what's happening to us. Safe Jamaica, productive Jamaica, will be a Jamaica where everybody who is connected wants to be here.
Before I let you go, the key message to the Employers Convention? Yeah?
The key message is that the government is here to work with you. We celebrate your success. Your win is Jamaica's win. And so we are going to collaborate to make sure that we can provide you with persons who are skilled, trained, have the right attitude to take on the work. And there will be some challenges, but we will make it together. We'll work through those things as a team. The tripartite is strong, and we're going to do our part to make sure that it continues to be strong.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
Labour and Social Security Minister,
Yes, sir.
Colonel Charles Jr. Thank you very much, sir.
I respect.
Good. the Director of Human Resource Management and Development at the Heart Trust NSTA, Mrs. Marcia Donaldson Thomas. Good morning, Mrs. Thomas.
Good morning, Cliff. Thank you so much for having me.
And thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
Tell me,
You're welcome.
why was it important for Heart Trust NTA to come on board the JEF Convention 2026?
Okay, so Heart believes that partnering, and which is what we do though, partnering with the employers, because it is here the employers are, and it is a direct access to the employers and providing our trainees. If you look around, you will see trainees from Heart NSTA Trust here. So this convention allows us to provide that access, to be in direct contact with the employers, those we provide our trainees to.
And the theme of the convention is rebuilding with purpose, turning crisis into opportunity. How does that align with Heart's mission and mandate at this time?
Okay, so crisis development, bearing in mind Heart provides the skills. Now we have a number of programs, agriculture, what do you call it now? Oh my God.
It will come back.
Yes, it will come back. But we provide, in terms of construction, remember we provide the skills, you know.
Right.
So we train persons in construction, electrical, all the different skills. And so at this time, what we are doing, the crisis management, providing to the nation trainees who can provide us with the type of skills to help us to rebuild. Yes, that's really what we are doing.
And as you're the manager of HR and development at Heart Trust, yes? What are you seeing in terms of what we are hearing increasingly about the availability of skilled workers, labor in Jamaica, and with particular reference to the trainees that you are getting? Talk to me about that.
Okay. So what we are hearing is that there is a shortage of trainees for different skill areas. And it is not that we're not providing, but we may not be providing sufficiently for what the market needs. So what we have been doing is that we have been increasing our intake or our different programs to allow for the employers to have the skilled persons that they need. We have to also focus on having that dialogue with the employers. Where do you want these skills? And so we are developing our trainees for those needs. So we are building our trainees to provide the employers with the skills that they desire.
And what does this mean, therefore, in the context of new and emerging technologies? Yeah, we've been talking here about the future of work. Yes? Talk to me about those emerging technologies and how they're impacting who you recruit and how you train them.
Okay, so we have right now at Cardiff St. Anne, Heart Trust, we are hosting skills, training camp, because we are on our road through World Skills to Singapore. And we have a number of competitors here. So what we are doing, so we have in robotics, we have drones. Those are the skills that we are training in. Recently, we had a number of persons graduating from Stony Hill used in computer technology, which is AI was the skill that they were trained in for a couple months well. So we are looking more at the technology, using those, because that's really what is happening now. Every change happening is within a technological sense, technological framework.
So are you finding enough recruits with the requisite basic skills, prerequisite subjects to qualify, to matriculate into the training programs at Heart?
All right, so it depends on the skill areas. Overall, there are some areas that we are not getting the number of persons to participate in. And so what we have done, we have gone into the community. So we are more interfacing with the community to pull the trainees in. Some areas, there's an abundance. So in our hospitality, there's a lot of trainees that will take up the offer. Construction, there may be a little challenging there, manufacturing, but we have put programs in place to go into the community to pull the trainees so that we can provide the employers with what they need. Yes.
And over the years, what you're getting out of the secondary education system, is that getting better?
I would say in between.
In between. There's still major room for improvement.
Yes, there's still, but I must tell you though, we're partnering now in the high schools to begin to recruit from there. So we now have labs in the different high schools to help us starting the process earlier and getting persons who prefer the skills aspect of it to come into HeartTrust. Remember now, even in those academic institutions, they are also doing skills-based training, and they are doing very well in the traditional high schools.
Yeah.
So yes.
And in terms of partnerships between the public and private sectors of the economy, what opportunities do you see for stronger such initiatives?
Well, there are a number of our employers,
yes,
they're always eager to work with Heart.
Okay.
And so with that eagerness, we are able also to provide them with more persons who would want to work with them. Also, bearing in mind too, that our trainees, sometimes it's a mindset that we will have to work on with our trainees, because oftentimes our trainees look towards, they want to make what I would say quick money or large money at one point. But you will have to work with our trainees to let them understand though that they would have to take smaller steps to get to where they are, and just to encourage them as well. So the initiatives or the opportunities that we see though is that we will have to partner more with more smaller business come on stream. We will have to partner with them as well to increase the number of trainees that will go out into the nation.
And in terms of your student population at Heart, yes? Approximately what's the size of that in training, on average?
We have over 2,000, near 1,000? Nearer to 2,000. So each year we
trainees in your different programs?
In the different programs. And remember, we're island-wide.
Right.
So, and we have about 42 institutions across the nation with different programs ranging from electrical, administrative assistant, all of those programs, yes.
Last one I'm going to ask you, Mrs. Donaldson Thomas. Is there a gender gap in the trainee population? Do you find more young women or young men? Yeah?
I'm not sure the extent to which we have done that deep analysis, but just looking on, you would have to answer that question based on skill area. because there are certain skill areas that will attract more female than male. But overall, though, there are far more women than men. And it has been taking a lot of effort to pull our young men in. But if you get them, and particularly if you look at technology, they're drawn more to that aspect of it than the female. So you'll find you can pull them in from that end. So it depends on the skill area that you are looking at.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
Mrs. Marcia Donaldson Thomas. Yes. She's the Director of Human Resource Management and Development at Heart Trust NTA. Thank you for speaking.
Thank you so much for having me.
You're
and
welcome.
I just want to remind everyone that skill is where it is at. Without a skill, then your wealth, the wealth will take a longer time. So yes, so Heart is about creating real jobs and ensuring that our productivity is enhanced, promoted, and yes, so yes, that is it. Thank you for having me, sir.
Good. We are at the Jamaica Employers Federation Convention at the Summit Kingston in Jamaica, because we're going all over the world. And we've been talking to a number of people at the convention, and we're going to be joined now by Janice Green. She has been somewhat of a veteran at Federation, the convention, over the years, representing a number of businesses and enterprises. Good morning, Janice Green. Long time I haven't seen you.
Good morning. Haven't seen you in a little while.
Tell me where it started. What year? What period of time in the newsroom?
We met in the newsroom. I was a little miss then. A little miss, 1992.
1992. That's what, 30 odd years
Oh
ago?
my gosh, we're on air. Yes. Well, I was a little miss.
Own it.
I was a little miss in the newsroom at that time.
You're much better off for it.
Yes, I am. I respect
grown.
time.
Yes.
Yes.
So what do you do now?
Now I'm the Human Resource Manager at Jamaica Premix Concrete Limited and Jamaica Aggregates Limited.
Okay.
Right.
So the convention,
Yes.
Rebuilding with Purpose, chosen as a theme for 2026.
Right.
What do you make of that?
I think it's quite appropriate. If I could go back a bit, I remember during Gilbert, and I remember my parents rebuilt with a purpose at that time. And I'm saying, I can't put myself in what happened with Melissa because I'm not from the West, but I can remember Gilbert. And I remember we had an almond tree out the front, and at the end of Gilbert, there was no almond tree. And so my father and my mother and all of us sisters, we had to be rebuilding. So I remember that then, and I say it's the same thing now. Right.
Employers today, in a world that is going through all kinds of changes, not only because of the climate crises, the global challenges, and of course, new rules of engagement, but also the emerging technologies are making a mockery of what we used to do in the world of work. You're an HR manager, What are the big challenges you are seeing now where human resource management and compensation and processes are concerned at the workplace?
Well, the whole place is evolving. I remember earlier, we had like a secretary that would attend a meeting and you'll take all these long notes and you'll go back and you will transcribe it. We're not doing that anymore. We're using AI and all the whole fancy technology. So you can just record it and everything is just produced for you. So I'm just looking at some jobs that used to be will no longer be the same way because an admin assistant would have to evolve into something else and a secretary evolve into something else. So it's a whole evolution that is taking place. And so we have to reimagine what we used to do and rebuild HR with a purpose, if I may say.
Yeah.
Yes.
And what are you seeing in terms of the competencies that are coming to you from the education system and the jobs, the requirements of the job?
Well, the competencies, UTech and UA, Jamaica, will have to change the way. There are some studies that used to be done that I think will have to change with what is happening now. So you come into like a company that I am with. We make concrete, but we're not making concrete the way people think it's done. It's a whole technology. So you're going to be studying construction technology and expect to come in to do things a particular way, but we use technology to do concrete.
Tell me a little bit about that. To get the right mix and...
Right, so the mix designs and all those fancy things.
Generated by computer.
Right, so someone will write it to say this is what, two parts of this, whatever we do. And so you use a computer to do all of that. So yes, you're going to be learning construction technology, but when you actually get in, it's something totally different. It's all computerized, right? So you have to get yourself in the new way of thinking that technology is taking over and you have to do things differently.
And therefore, that brings us into AI.
Right.
Are you beginning to see the use of that in the business?
Yes, we are. And I speak again from, I have union meetings. And you know when you're doing negotiations can take up to 2 hours per day. Can you imagine how laborious that is to sit in a meeting to take notes? I don't have to. You can use one of those fancy note-taking technology systems that they have to take your notes for you and it reproduces it for you within 20 minutes. So life is a little bit easier now when you go to negotiate and you have someone taking the notes at the meetings.
How are our workers responding though to the changes and the emerging technologies? Are they resistant to the technologies? Are they adapting quickly enough?
I think they're adapting quickly enough. I mean, they like to tell you that you're from the old school. And so they like to say, oh, you're from the old school. This is how we do things now. Somebody tells me about Claude. I say, who's Claude? I don't know who's Claude. And so they show me an app on their phone. I'm saying, I don't know Claude. Read AI or, a whole bunch of stuff. So I think they're adapting. And,
you really didn't know about Claude?
No, I didn't know about Claude. Who's Claude? I mean, we know of a Claude, right?
Yeah.
But not that Claude.
Right.
So I'm saying, who's Claude? But I mean, I think they're adapting, and I think it makes life a little bit easier for everybody because you have the old school and you have the new school people, and so we are coming together to make the workplace a better place.
Yeah. In terms of this year's convention, what lessons from previous conventions are being applied this year?
Well, the convention, I think it was 2024, the one that we had it virtually. It was a little different for me because today I can interact with a lot of people. I'm sitting beside somebody that I don't know. And we talk about things, I mean, the presentation, I mean, who made that, and a little joke. But when we had the one virtually, I didn't have anybody. I didn't see anybody. Everything was online. It was efficiently done. But when it's in person, it makes a whole lot of difference. I can talk to people. We can exchange. It's not business card anymore. Whoops, it's share your WhatsApp detail. All right, so I'm sharing and I'm getting to know people. So what is different this time? We have new and improved presenters, some persons who have been around for a long time. Come to think of it, the section that I'm going to be moderating today, that gentleman taught me when I was preparing for UTech. So this is my person from another institution that prepared me for UTech that is coming here now that I'm going to be moderating that session. So I'm saying it's new and improved people. When I did my session, the virtual one in 2024, I believe, I didn't know anyone. I didn't know that I was even going to be called to do a presentation. I felt really good that I was presenting then. And I feel even better now that I'm moderating. So, yeah, there are a lot of things.
Tell me, Janice Green,
yes.
What support mechanisms you think are needed to strengthen medium, small enterprises, businesses? We heard from the president, it's a tough business climate.
Right.
Small and medium-sized enterprises are struggling.
Right.
Yeah, what do you think a convention like this, where the business leaders, the leaders of industry are present, yeah, could arrive at to help shape public policy?
Jamaica Employers Federation is for employers. And we have regular meeting with employers. And so we want employers to come. We need for them to share what are the new things happening, what are the things that they need to see improved. And so when you come into an organization like this and there is networking and people can share information and say, listen, my business is struggling because of this. There is someone else out there who has conquered it or who is at a particular level, and so you can learn. There are smaller sessions, smaller things that you can get involved in, smaller groups. So you need an organization like the Jamaica Employers Federation where employers can come, they can learn, they can share. And so I'm inviting employers, become a member of the Jamaica Employers Federation.
Another one here for you. What are the biggest workforce challenges facing Jamaican businesses?
Well, productivity is one. People come to work and they're expected to produce at a particular level, but people's interests are different. So you come here, and most people come to work for money, and organizations also come to make money. So the employees' objective is sometimes different from the employers. So as an employer, you need to achieve a certain level, and as an employee, I need to take home a certain amount of money. So what we need to do is to come together to see where we can have a compromise. These are my goals, and these are your goals, but we need to come together to achieve it and to make Jamaica a better place. So we need to reach a path where everybody can agree as we have common goals.
Yeah. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Janice
Green, she's
Yes.
a member of the Planning Committee of the Employers Federation.
Yes.
Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right.
Good, good.
Okay.
We have joining us now a member of the JEF. He has a big job to do on day 2, the closing day of the convention. He's Robert Scott, CEO of Lifespan Water and COO of
Lifespan Company Limited.
Good. So, Mr. Scott,
Yes.
your job tomorrow, what is it?
I am the closing speaker, and I speak to Gravitas. It's
Yes.
based on the book that I had launched just last month. Amazon #1 bestseller and international bestseller. And it really speaks about, oftentimes we have individuals who we wish to promote, but they're not quite ready. They lack that substance, that executive presence. And in looking at what's happening in the world today, the problems of AI and solutions of AI, war, ships in the harbor, etc., persons are not sure how to go ahead, and they look to their leaders. And Cliff, you know that if you're traveling and you're going through turbulence, your eyes are on that flight attendant in front of you. If she seems calm, you're calm.
Yeah.
If she gets flustered, you get flustered.
Right.
And that is the role we need our leaders, to not be flustered, to be calm, and to have that executive presence, and also that behavior that will keep their company and their individuals calm and focused on producing the results.
Yeah.
And I have a number of case studies that I will share tomorrow, in addition to giving 6 techniques what leaders need to do to prepare their other leaders within the organization.
Yeah.
So I think it's something that's in fact very, very useful, because we talk about the numbers, but we need the people to achieve the numbers. And how do we get those people to be really focused and not worried about what's happening in the world? It means that that leader has to have that level of presence, has to have that calm demeanor.
So tell me, Mr. Scott, as a business leader of several years, yes, we are faced at the workplace today with some headwinds. Rapidly changing technologies impacting how we work, yes, how we monitor people, how we deliver the deliverables we are asked to do, yes, and of course a tough business climate.
Of course.
Yeah, the challenges of the climate crisis. Yeah, tell me from where you sit at Lifespan and your own experience. Yeah. Yes, stay calm, but when the numbers not adding up and the bills are to be paid at the end of the month, yeah, talk to that CEO.
That is in fact a challenge that many companies face. Even major companies on the stock market will tell you that their numbers are going down. And what it means then is there are solutions that oftentimes it's not the leaders that have the solutions, it's the workers. You know, I've always said that we as the leaders, we have the ideas, but they have the solutions. So it's getting each person to really want to support the company. Rather than saying, sure, I can't bother you, it's not my job, that. But it's about creating that environment that everybody feels that they are in fact part of it. One of the case studies that I'll be sharing tomorrow is with the story of Airbnb. As you can imagine how that business crashed right after COVID.
Yes.
But it was really brought back, and it was not based on capital injection. It wasn't based on strategy. It was based on the leader engaging other leaders to really take their people to a place where they can feel comfortable coming to work and delivering the results.
And in terms of the industrial relations climate, how is that today between labor
in my
and
company?
capital?
Very, very happy. It's very positive, and this was not by accident. The founder of the company is still very, very active, and her manner, her way of being, is really one of participatory and of giving. A lot of people get a lot of second chances, and when there are issues, we do send individuals for counseling.
Yeah.
So we have a workforce that also recognizes that we are perhaps the largest employer in Portland. And so therefore there's that sense of pride, not wanting the company to fail, not wanting the leader to fail. And therefore that really helps people to come to work. For example, our Montego Bay office, when we had the last hurricane, as you know, the hurricane came on the Tuesday, we had one of our staff members, entire house was a total loss. Another person had to be evacuated. But on the Friday morning, we were open at 6:30 in the morning, selling water. Yes, it was a management decision. The staff said, listen, I can get to work, I have the key. And they opened up at 6:30 and started to sell water.
Yeah.
That says a lot.
A lot. What steps can we take, though, to upskill our teams or workers for the new technologies like AI and automation?
Well, you
How we
know,
manage that?
AI is important. It's something I use daily. But what I use even more, or I try to use even more, is EQ, emotional intelligence.
Okay.
And that speaks to understanding the worker.
Yeah.
And it's really letting them recognize that you're there for them. It's not just about making profit, but it's about helping them to be who they can be in the face of these challenges.
How do you identify early warning signs of burnout among your people?
That's interesting. You know, we do have a few people that work remotely. We have a Kingston office, we have a Montego Bay office, and we have persons that are in and out and move between locations like myself. So one of the key things is having regular meetings. So there's a management meeting that takes place the first working day of the week. So if the public holiday is on a Monday, we're having it on a Tuesday, and that happens. And then it's not just about the business, it's about what issues are happening. You know, how are the people we face? And we have a very, very, very strong HR team, and they're in touch. So when they're seeing someone off, or when somebody's being reported too often, then it's not just a disciplinary action. It's looking and saying, okay, well, is there a deeper issue? And there are a few stories that obviously I can't share on the air.
Sure.
But in one case, the team said, listen, we're going to give this person the love that they need. And that includes HR checking in with the person's mother on a weekly basis. So that, we can't lose the human touch.
Yeah.
And I think that's really the essence of my presentation. One of the points too is that we also have to train our leaders to make decisions under stress. That's one of the key points, because when things are coming at you very fast, it's very easy to make a bad decision as opposed to make a decision that is properly thought out, even in the space of challenges.
Yeah. And finally, the role of data in managing and making decisions.
You know, we are not very strong on data in this country generally. I can tell you, whereas when I work with multinational companies and I go to my meetings, my colleagues are able to give me market share to 2 decimal points. We have no means of getting market share. Any market share, any company gives a market share is at best a guesstimate. So we get used to making decisions and flying by the seat of our pants as opposed to data. Thankfully, that is changing. When I see resumes of individuals coming for jobs, I'm really impressed at some of the courses that I see that they're doing. So happily, that is changing. The environment is not necessarily one that makes data available as it should. But we're seeing really an uptick in how that is being used. But that is critical to ensure that you make the right decisions, even in the space of incomplete information.
Thank you very much.
Sir,
Business leader, CEO of Lifespan Water, Robert Scott. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Good. All right. Well, I think that's where we're going to leave it for today from this special broadcast of the Employers Federation Convention. We want to say thanks to our producer, Sonia Stewart, our videographer, Nigel Austin, and our business development executive, Diana Buchanan. I'm Cliff Hughes, saying walk good.
That was the delayed broadcast of the Jamaica Employers Federation's 42nd Annual Business and Workplace Convention and Expo. It was, of course, brought to you by the Jamaica Employers Federation. And that's where we leave it for Nationwide at 5 this evening. Thanks to our super producer Dana Davey, technical operator Andrew Buggs, Glenna Anderson, and of course the news and production team led by Cara Powell. That's where we leave it for this evening. Until next time. Take care. Good evening. That was the delayed broadcast of
Tired of long lines and heavy grocery bags? Say hello to Fedlin Limited, your trusted online supermarket. Order